Let me introduce Qin Feng, just another cog in the corporate machine, dragging himself through the daily grind. What is the worst that could happen? Suddenly some jerk body checks him, launching him straight into a lady's personal space. Bad news, she has a boyfriend and Qin Feng knows he is dead meat. A fist connects with his face, sending him reeling. He stumbles backward into traffic, and bam, gets absolutely flattened by a truck. Talk about a fatal chest plant. Game over. Not quite. Our guy snaps his eyes open, reincarnated in the mystical cultivation realm of Huanggu. The second he lands a kick on his womb mate, a holographic system alert flashes villain points acquired. Turns out his twin is the legendary Chosen One, and hanging around the main character is basically a death sentence. Qin Feng realizes he needs to level up fast or get crushed by the plot armor disaster his brother is destined to attract. Meet the mom, the stunning saintess of Mount Taibai. The clan possesses a top-secret magical elixir. It grants newborns a massive XP boost right out of the gate. A single drop costs more than a luxury penthouse. So our anti-hero is born with a silver spoon. His dad, Qin Tian, runs the clan, but honestly, who cares about him? Let's get to the good stuff. It is time for Qin Feng to flex those cheat codes. He triggers the Great Emperor ability Halo 10 times the stats and a legendary divine technique unlocked instantly. The spectators lose their minds, hailing him as Heaven's peerless pride, a once-in-a-generation prodigy. His dad is beaming with pride, but Qin Feng just wants some peace and quiet. So how does he vent his frustration? He starts pummeling his twin brother naturally. He tells the sobbing kid, it's nothing personal, just destiny. It is the chosen one versus the destined villain, strictly business. Every time he smacks the protagonist, the system prints more villain points, and he is addicted. They spend 3 whole years marinating in there, because in this hardcore world, pregnancy lasts a century to maximize potential. Qin Feng spent that entire time farming XP, leaving his poor brother completely emotionally scarred. Finally, it is go time. Mom goes into labor while the maids hype her up like a cheer squad. Dad is pacing holes in the floor until a cry pierces the air. He busts into the room screaming for his son. The maid hands over the bundle of joy, but Qin Feng takes one look at his old man's mug. Yikes, talk about a face for radio. He prays he didn't inherit those genes and slaps his dad. Ding, the system tosses him 2 villain points for wrecking the father-son bond. Wait, seriously, just 2? Apparently dissing your own dad is considered easy mode. So Qin Feng goes full berserker, but his oblivious dad just thinks the kid is full of energy. Look at that emperor-level spirit, Dad cheers. Then the midwife drops a bombshell. There is another one. She dives back in to retrieve the spare heir. But the second kid is clinging to the womb like his life depends on it. Qin Feng is livid, unwilling. Are you kidding me? He rages at the absurdity of this fantasy logic. He can't farm villain points if his punching bag refuses to spawn. The maid steps in to hold him. While Dad catches his breath, our anti-hero refuses to chill, screaming for his brother to get out here. He yells for the coward to show his face, and ding, 50 villain points awarded. Achievement unlocked, cushion of love. Wait, 50 points for that. He is floored. Apparently being cradled by a certified baddie counts as a villain achievement here. That is when it hits him. I could get used to this villain lifestyle. Cut to the garden, where he is living the dream as a toddler. It plays out like a scene from a harem anime with maids fawning over him left and right. Blindfolded, he plays tag with Sister Suyun, who is absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. He snags her easily because protagonists don't do losing. Gotcha, he smirks. Boom, 200 villain points for the gentleman mission. Now he is scheming. That puts him over the top. He checks his stats, 30,000 points banked and sitting at stage 9 of Chi and Blood. The latter goes from Chi and Blood all the way to Ethereal, with 9 grueling steps per tier. Time to level up. He focuses his Chi and the air around him starts to vibrate with intensity. Enlightenment realm, here I come. Energy explodes outward as he shatters his limits. Just like that, our boy hits the commencement realm at age 3, like he's playing on easy mode. The whole room is shook by the power surge, including Qin Feng, who realizes he might have flexed a little too hard. He immediately pivots to damage control by demanding uppies from Sister Bu, because the grind for villain points stops for nobody and she instantly melts. I mean, who can reject a young master? This cute little man goes straight in for the kiss, 50 villain points secured. That unlocks the Love's Kiss achievement. The maids try to lecture him about personal boundaries, saying he can't just go around kissing girls. But they let it slide because, well, he's a toddler. Qin Feng plays dumb, acting like he has zero clue how the world works. Then he boldly asks to sleep with Sister Baiyu, because our protagonist is speedrunning the harem route, any percent glitchless. Meanwhile, over at the Great Xia dynasty, the emperor is trying to vibe with his consort when the energy suddenly shifts. He snaps out of it, demanding to know who just leveled up, and unleashes his spiritual consciousness to scan the server. And this guy is radiating pure final boss energy. He locks onto the source, the gifted son of the Qin family. Welp, our boy is officially on the hit list. The emperor decides that a 3-year-old hitting commencement realm is a bug that needs to be patched out immediately, permanently. Back at the Qin estate, The maids are relaxing in the bathhouse, looking absolutely top tier. And guess who's lurking at the door? Boom, 100 points for the gentleman's mission. He tries to claim he's innocent, but the system made him do it. Then a new quest pops up, Troll BU during bath time. He pretends to be offended, like, who do you think I am? Until he sees the reward 500 points to hop in with Zhu Yu. Suddenly, morals are out the window. Our boy yells, let's go, and starts stripping down instantly. He cannonballs right in next to Sister Bai Yu. She is totally caught off guard and splashes him in panic. Doesn't matter, still got paid 200 points secured. Then he turns his sights on Sister Zhu Yu. She hesitates, sensing the sus vibes. But the blonde maid steps in like he's just a baby and helps him get comfortable. The whole squad agrees he's harmless. I mean, what kind of devious thoughts could a toddler have? Meanwhile, our boy is living his best life, realizing the villain path is actually the meta. Qin Feng hits up the system shop. He grabs the unconstrained phantom skill because his brother's spawn timer is almost up. Time to grind. His logic, if you can't be the wolf with the fangs, you better be the sheep with the maxed out agility stats. Since his brother has that main character plot armor, Qin Feng decides to spec entirely into speed. That way when things go south, he can just nope out of there. Honestly, top tier villain strategy. Our boy starts cackling like a maniac. He's hyping himself up over his own cowardice. 3 days later, a massive heavenly sign drops. Qin Feng wonders if his OP brother is finally logging into the server. But wait, his danger senses start tingling. Suddenly, a massive blast of purple energy comes screaming right at his face. Reflex check. He dodges at max velocity and looks up to see a squad of high-level cultivators hovering ominously, and he realizes they are definitely here for him. The elders start beefing about engagement rules and the vibe gets intense. While they float there menacingly, the emperor steps up. He demands to know if this is the Qin family's eldest son. But Qin Feng is already proccing his movement skills, juking everyone out of their boots. The emperor clocks it immediately. That movement speed is way too broken for a toddler. It's already insane that a 3-year-old hit the commencement stage. But mastering advanced footwork too, the Qin elder jumps in to de-escalate the situation, claiming the kid is just shy. The emperor laughs it off, but you can tell he's still highly suspicious. Time for the performance of a lifetime. Our boy waddles up, wide-eyed, asking, "Are you really the emperor?" Qin Feng activates full fanboy mode. He starts glazing the emperor so hard, calling him wise, noble, fearless, the G-O-A-T. And the emperor eats it up. He's laughing like he's never had his ego stroked this hard in his life. But then the trap card. Our boy hits him with surely a legendary emperor wouldn't show up empty-handed, right? The emperor freezes. His face drops because he definitely came here for murder, not gift-giving. But Qin Feng doubles down. He loudly wonders if the ruler of the Great Xia really pulled up with zero drip to offer. The Qin elders are fighting for their lives, trying not to burst out laughing. The emperor got hustled by a baby, so he reluctantly pulls out a box. You can tell it pains him to give this up. He opens it to reveal the legendary loot, the Vast Sky, 9 Swords divine weapon. Wielded by a sword god 10,000 years ago, every single blade in this collection is a certified divine artifact. Stack all 9 together, and you unlock one of the top 10 weapons in the entire universe. Qin Feng stares at the legendary loot eyes wide, already calculating how to heist the whole set. The emperor asks, "Pretty sick, right?" Clearly flexing his rare inventory. But on the inside, the guy is sweating bullets because he spent ages grinding resources to acquire these 9 swords. He figures he'll just squeeze his eyes shut and let the kid pick one, even if it breaks his heart. But before he can even finish that thought, Qin Feng literally yoinks the entire case right out of his grip. Zero hesitation. And our main character beams like an angel, thanking the emperor for gifting the entire set like that was the plan from day one. His eyes say, "You came here to troll me? So get ready to get played, old man." The emperor tries to stutter out a correction, but Qin Feng is fully committed to the innocent act. The Qin elders catch on instantly, hyping the emperor up as the most generous leader in history. They are laying it on thick, claiming it would be straight up disrespectful to discuss value. With a tycoon like him, they're basically swearing allegiance to the emperor just to lock in the scam. Qin Feng's dad understands the assignment, telling his son to bow down and show respect. Boom, the system rewards him with 1,000 villain points for daylight robbery of an emperor. The ruler is fuming internally, realizing this entire bloodline is teaming up to hustle him. But Qin Feng isn't finished yet, innocently asking if the emperor knows the custom about elders bringing gifts for juniors. The Qin elders immediately back him up, swearing on their lives that yes, that is absolutely a mandatory tradition. The emperor is losing his mind, wishing he stayed home with his wife, instead of dealing with this absolute menace. Qin Feng gasps dramatically, asking if the supreme ruler is too broke to give a junior a little souvenir. Defeated, the emperor reluctantly reaches for his belt, regretting every life choice that led him here. He hands over the Tianbao gourd, a legit heavenly artifact. Qin Feng's eyes go wide immediately. This bad boy boosts cultivation speed, stabilizes your foundation, and regenerates mana mid-fight. Solid stats. Our anti-hero thanks the Emperor, thinking, okay, maybe this old guy is actually useful. The system loves the hustle, awarding another 1,000 points for swindling the gourd. The finesse is going perfectly. Qin Feng starts scanning for more loot, and the Emperor feels a chill down his spine. Then our boy casually mentions he has a little brother, popping out any minute now. The Emperor immediately starts fake coughing, claiming he suddenly has a super urgent crisis to handle. This man engages thrusters flying away at Mach 10, just to avoid getting fleeced by a toddler again. Qin Feng waves, shouting that he'll bring the new baby over for a playdate soon. And just like that, the Emperor yeets himself into the horizon, completely cleaned out by the Qin squad. But wait, Qin Feng's own dad tries to snag the swords, claiming he'll keep them safe. Our lead immediately hits the waterworks, accusing his pops of stealing his gear. The dad freezes, looking guilty as charged because he was definitely trying to inventory theft those divine weapons. The elder steps in, roasting the dad for trying to rob his own kid. Grandpa snatches the loot back and returns it to Qin Feng, telling him to dry those eyes. Our protagonist grabs the treasure, still keeping up the sniffles. But let's be real, those tears were Oscar-worthy acting. He's playing everyone like a fiddle. Suddenly the sky turns black with lightning, and Qin Feng looks up confused. A massive fire phoenix dives from the clouds toward the estate. The dad's eyes bulge, he realizes his wife. Shiwei is literally in labor right now. He bolts, cursing himself for forgetting the most important event of the year. And Qin Feng's face drops the act. His foolish little brother is finally spawning in after a 3-year loading screen. They rush to the delivery room, and there he is, the legendary Heaven's Chosen One. Looking suspiciously chill for a newborn, the dad holds his new son with pride, while Qin Feng lurks in the corner, radiating menace. Qin Feng calls out, already scheming how to nerf his new rival. Dad introduces him to Little Wooer, and our protagonist puts on his best loving big bro mask. He asks why the kid isn't crying, feigning concern. So doing his duty, he winds up and slaps the baby's butt, hard. The kid immediately starts screaming, and the dad looks horrified at the sudden violence. He demands to know how Qin Feng could smack his infant brother like that. But Qin Feng hits him with the innocent eyes again, claiming he was just worried. The baby was defective or something. The system dings 100 villain points for spanking the Chosen One. But that's nothing compared to the 30,000 points he gets just for making the main character cry. Easy money. And dissipating that raw ancestral energy into the ether. Cut to his chambers, our anti-hero is scrolling through his stats, realizing his XP grind has hit a massive brick wall. He is stuck at stage 1 of the Enlightenment realm. He's sitting on 32,000 villain points, but that's chump change compared to the upgrade cost. But now that his goofy little brother has finally spawned into the world, the villain point drought is officially over. Infinite glitch unlocked. Time to gamble. He rips a spin on the system's gacha wheel, hoping for an S-tier drop. Boom lands right on the heaven-slaying sword technique. That name screams game-breaking mechanic. Instantly, his mind gets flooded with 4K visions of catastrophic sword arts. Strikes capable of slicing reality itself. A raw surge of adrenaline and power courses through his veins. As the download completes, our boy snaps his eyes open. He knows immediately this isn't just a skill, it's a cheat code. No time to waste. He needs to master this as soon as possible. He blows 30,000 villain points without blinking, purchasing a 1-month comprehension aura booster to speedrun the training. Fast forward a month. Grandpa pulls up looking for some wholesome bonding time. He heard the MC has been grinding swordsmanship and wants to drop some elder wisdom to guide the young Padawan. But Qin Feng is zoning out, thinking it'd be way more profitable to just go farm his little brother for points instead. Grandpa launches into a classic NPC monologue. Cultivators must stay humble, check your ego, blah blah blah. Then the old man decides to flex. He unleashes a dramatic power display, summoning massive stone pillars from the earth. Green energy swirls like a hurricane. He explains this is merely stage 1 of a heaven-level art, known as Swirl of the Falling Leaves. He brags that it took him over 10 years to master. The camera cuts to Qin Feng, wearing the deadest is that it expression ever. He lazily flicks a few leaves with his finger. Swish. They slice clean through a solid tree branch. Zero effort. Our MC is internally screaming, "Bro, you spent a decade on that." Jump cut 5 years later. The brothers are deep in cultivation mode, when suddenly the air pressure drops. Someone is leveling up, violently. The energy discharge literally blows the roof off the mansion. At just 5 years old, Qin Hao hits level 5. Meanwhile, 8-year-old Qin Feng hits the Transcension realm. The clan elders are absolutely losing their minds. Our protagonist steps out of the dust, looking way too drippy for an 8-year-old. First words, "Where's my brother?" Dad facepalms hard. These demon children wreck the estate every single year. Parenting them is a survival horror game. Suddenly, the system drops a notification. Main quest, harvest your brother's supreme bone. Our boy literally coughs up blood from the shock. "Are you bugged?" he screams internally. This is villainy on steroids, the system replies with zero chill, explaining that the supreme bone is renewable, break it, and a stronger one grows back. Like a lizard tail but grosser. Still, that feels way too hardcore. He declares he needs meditation time to process. Dad and Grandpa are left bewildered, wondering who this Jing girl is that he wants to find. Cut to the heaven's chosen one, napping peacefully in a tree like a sloth, living his best life. Of course, our protagonist tracks him down instantly. That devilish smirk, yeah, he's up to no good. Yoink. He snatches his little bro straight off the branch. Cue the internal monologue. I was supposed to be a rich playboy living the soft life. But thanks to this insignificant little brat, I'm forced to grind cultivation 24/7. He dramatically sighs about his tragic fate. Suddenly, the adorable kid interrupts. Can we sneak out and play? Chin Feng pauses. Play, the little guy nods aggressively. And just like that, the villain arc is cancelled. Bet, he says. Smash cut to downtown, where two kids are wailing over their dead father in the street. Oscar-worthy performance. The crowd gathers, murmuring about how tragic it is for such cute kids to be orphans. The sympathy donations start raining down. Little Chin Hao counts the loot, 73 coins, and immediately suggests a food run. Our protagonist smirks, offering to treat him to stir-fried beef with bamboo shoots. What the little brother doesn't realize is that bamboo shoots is code for a spanking. Chin Hao clueless cheers that it's his favorite meal, while our protagonist laughs like a maniac. Suddenly, the corpse sits up. The crowd shrieks in terror. Thinking he's a zombie, the guy looks around totally dazed. Wait, when did I die? He shrugs, says he's hungry, and wanders off to beg. Perfect timing for the real father to spawn in behind them, ready to discipline Chin Hao for the fake funeral hustle. The little traitor instantly snitches on Chin Feng, screaming, it was all his idea, ding, 200 villain points secured. Chin Hao starts begging for his life, crying, I'm still just a baby, but father isn't hearing it, declaring that true parenting requires a heavy hand. Total emotional crash out. The kid is screaming, claiming he despises his old man more than anyone else in the universe. Enter Big Brother, with the fake sympathy hitting him with the don't cry, fooling Chin Hao completely. But our MC is smirking. Because, is it really a childhood without a little tough love trauma? We cut to the brutal aftermath of that bamboo shoot discipline session. Chin Hao's backside is looking absolutely wrecked, but here comes Big Brother playing the savior role, applying the salve while muttering to himself about how his entire future happiness depends on these glutes. Little Chin Hao is practically in tears from the kindness praising his bro. Chin Feng offers a head pat, acting the part of the saint he definitely isn't. Real talk, Little Hao is a chosen one, which basically makes him a walking talking XP farm for our villain system. The kid starts venting, ranting about how his stupid dad only knows how to throw hands. Bingo. Our protagonist sees an opening and whispers a master plan for revenge. He feigns hesitation though, reminding him that he is dad after all. Chin Hao swears on his life he won't snitch on his brother. Chin Feng sighs, fake concern obviously, then dramatically clasps his hands, agreeing to spill the tea, which was the plan all along. He leans in, dad has a secret private treasury stash hidden away, and if mom were to stumble upon it, the kid's eyes go wide. He understands the assignment perfectly. Smash cut to the discovery pots, overflowing with gold coins in the woods. Mother is absolutely livid, putting father in a headlock and demanding to know how long he's been holding out on her. Dad's face drains of color as he connects the dots on who ratted him out. He starts roaring about that traitorous son, clearly, deciding the first beating was just a warm-up. Now we've got a high-speed chase through the courtyard, with father wielding a feather duster like a legendary sword. Chin Hao books it straight to his big bro for sanctuary, gasping for air. But dad closes the gap, snatching him up by the collar. You think you can run? The kid starts wailing as round 2 begins. Our protagonist just watches with a fond smile, thinking about his poor brother. Ding. The system confirms the frame-up job on the chosen one, and drops 200 villain points in his lap. Later that night, mom is looking absolutely drop-dead gorgeous, cooing for her darling husband. Meanwhile, outside the door, innocent little Chin Hao asks the million-dollar question. Why is dad pinning mom down? Our MC answers with the most deadpan poker face imaginable, that they are just training. Suddenly gears turn in Chin Hao's head. If he interrupts this training session, maybe dad will be too tired to beat him later. Chin Feng hesitates, the villain points smell delicious, but interrupting that might be lethal. Too late, the kid takes his silence as a green light, and cheerfully announces he's going in. Our protagonist's jaw drops as he realizes the magnitude of the disaster, and desperately reaches out to grab him. But it's over. Chin Hao bursts in screaming father, leaving dad looking absolutely traumatized. Even the family parrot looks confused by the vibe shift. Chin Feng can only cringe, watching the train wreck unfold. But then, the system goes ballistic. 200 points for the setup, and 500 for causing a violent beatdown. The rewards keep stacking, 500 for the butt bloom achievement, and 1,000 for soul-penetrating pain. Our MC rationalizes it. Discipline is educational right. Fast forward 2 weeks. Qin Feng is chilling, complaining about his dry spell on points, mostly because his brother's butt is still out of commission. Suddenly, something pulls his gaze skyward. A massive flying beast tears through the clouds, towing a luxury carriage. There's a blue-haired swordsman riding shotgun, while a cute green-haired girl peeks out. Our MC recognizes them instantly, the Lin family from Tianshan City. Suddenly, a system alert screams epic-level Heaven's Chosen One detected. His point drought is officially over. Let's hit the rewind button to see why they're here. 2 weeks ago, at the Lin estate in Tianshan, we meet Lin Hao, the family patriarch. He just got wind of the rumors that the Qin family somehow produced 2 geniuses. He's deep in thought, watching his daughter spar with a servant. Young Lin Shinner is going hard, striking a powerful combat pose. She throws a haymaker at a tree, shaking leaves loose, while the servant watches like a statue. She beams, asking for feedback. The servant politely tells her she's got extraordinary talent, but her father just lets out a heavy, disappointed sigh, turning his back, and Jinner catches it. She hits him with the innocent puppy eyes, asking why he's sighing like the world is ending. He immediately caps, claiming he's just in a food coma, weakest excuse ever. Then he drops the nuclear bombshell, bringing up the Qin family heir, and straight up asking if she's down to get hitched. The poor girl's operating system crashes. She's staring into space completely shell-shocked before stuttering that she's literally still a kid. But her dad just laughs it off, claiming puppy love is still love. She immediately goes dramatic, swearing she'd stay single until the end of time, claiming she'd rather go blind or lose her mind than marry some random Qin boy. But suddenly they pull up to the Qin estate. She spots Father Qin first and her brain melts, thinking he is the fiancé, and marveling at how gorgeous this Qin Feng guy is. Meanwhile, our actual MC is standing there like an NPC confused by the vibe. The girl realizes her mistake, snaps out of it, and flips the switch to arrogance mode, announcing that a pretty face doesn't qualify him to be her hubby. She stomps over to our protagonist, demanding to know if he's the real Qin Feng. She drags her servant Lin San forward and challenges Qin Feng to a duel to prove he's not trash. Her dad, Lin Hao, immediately yells at her for disrespecting the house. But our boy Qin Feng, he's ignoring her and staring daggers at the servant. Realizing this random servant gives off major Heaven's Chosen One energy, he starts calculating, thinking about how he's been suppressing his power for 5 whole years just to keep his parents chill, which only netted him a measly 240,000 villain points. But now, a fresh target with 0 family ties has been hand-delivered to his doorstep. That smile creeping across his face is pure demon time. Our protagonist spots the setup immediately. Lin Hao is mouthing an apology, but his body language says, "Go ahead, humble my daughter." Father Qin reads the room perfectly and volunteers his son to play with the guest. Our boy accepts instantly, and that grin proves he's about to commit a crime. Lin San steps up, getting into a combat stance, and politely asks for guidance, having 0 clue he's about to become a villain point XP farm. Our MC doesn't waste a second. He flares his aura, blasting Lin San backward with raw pressure. He transitions straight into the swirling falling leaves technique because, why play nice when there's loot to be farmed? Lin San eats the attack, and the impact nearly yeets him across the yard. But being a chosen one, he manages to block knees buckling under the sheer weight of an 8-year-old's power. Lin San fires back with his own move, and honestly, the animation budget just skyrocketed for this sequence. Lin Shinner is hyping up her servant's counterattack, calling it a work of art. But our protagonist notices that one swing drained a ton of stamina, and to him that's just a wide-open door. He goes for the throat with his unconstrained phantom technique, making it crystal clear he wants this dude dead. Lin San barely gets his guard up and their weapons clash in a massive spiritual explosion. The shockwave ripples through the entire courtyard, and the system notification pops up, dinging him with 200 villain points just for touching a Heaven's Chosen One. But Lin San isn't finished, throwing a desperate counterattack with everything in the tank. For the first time, our MC realizes this isn't a game, it's actually dangerous. He barely twists out of the way midair. Qin Feng lands heavy, skidding back and tearing up the earth from the momentum. Meanwhile, Lin Shinner is on the sidelines, cheering for her servant to humble the kid she's literally supposed to marry. Our protagonist smirks, thinking so this is the plot armor of a main character. But he's not folding yet. He raises a hand, summoning his blade. Father Qin clocks the move instantly, and screams "Vast Sky 9 Swords." Lin Hao loses his mind, stammering that the rumors about the Emperor getting scammed out of those legendary swords were actually true. Father Qin does a nervous laugh, looking like a guy who just got caught laundering money. Lin Hao tries to in-law him, but Father Qin snaps back, asking, "Who are you calling in-law?" Meanwhile, Qin Feng is orchestrating all 9 swords to link up. The legendary blades obey, floating in perfect formation, before merging into one gargantuan sword that literally blots out the sun. Father Qin can't help but flex, bragging that his son has Emperor-tier talent, accidentally leaking that the Emperor gave them up, voluntarily. Qin Feng stands there, looking absolutely god-tier, with the mega blade hair blowing in the wind. But Lin San refuses to quit, shouting that 9 swords won't save him. Lin San triggers his ultimate move, the vast sky sword attack, firing a massive golden beam straight at our boy. Both dads instantly panic, realizing this sparring match just turned into a death match. Father Qin explains both attacks stem from the same source, the vast sky sword god, and now they're clashing. He's terrified that even with prodigy talent, his 8-year-old son can't tank a hit from a sword god technique. He goes full dad mode, sprinting to intervene while screaming, "Daddy's coming," but our protagonist coldly orders his father to stand down, so Pops has to back off. Kinfather freezes, looking totally crushed that his precious boy just stiff-armed his assistants. Our main man squares up his blade radiating pure energy, and he unleashes a legendary counterattack. The heaven-slaying sword technique, the clash is instant boom, an explosion rips through the air rocking the whole compound. Lin Hao is losing his mind, stuttering out a, "What was that?" just as the shockwave blasts the spectators. Both dads look like they just saw a ghost. Lin San is reeling, screaming, "How does a literal child block my ult?" But watch this, it gets spicy. His sword fractures, and then shatters into a million pieces. Ding, the system drops a cool 100,000 villain points for cracking the Chosen One's precious Dao heart. Our anti-hero strolls toward his prey, casually dropping a "you're next" while running the numbers in his head. If a cracked heart is worth 100,000, then utterly crushing his soul has got to be a jackpot. He yanks Lin San up by the collar and decides to just stab the guy's spirit directly, and he starts hacking away. Cha-ching, 500 points per slash on the golden boy. The score is racking up fast. 500, another 500. He is power leveling like a maniac until Kinfather snatches him from behind. Dude is livid about having his grind interrupted. Lin Hao is sweating bullets, quickly agreeing they should call it a draw. Basically begging, "Please don't turn my best servant into paste." He asks to pull Kinfather aside for a sec, and Dad agrees. They do that awkward, "you first politeness dance as they walk off. Kinfather is internally fist-pumping, convinced this alliance is a done deal thanks to his son's absolute flex. Meanwhile, Lin Shinner slides up to tell our boy he is strong, and he hits her with the coldest reply ever. Just a flat "I know." She tries to drop her name, but he barely even glances at her. Instead, he points at Lin San like, "Can your pet come out to play again?" And she completely snaps. She is trying to propose, and he just wants to beat up her servant. She huffs and stomps away, totally triggered. She is over it. Our MC is left standing there, scratching his head, wondering what her problem is. Shinner marches into the guest room to confront her dad about this whole arranged marriage drama. Dad asks, "Wait, weren't you okay with marrying the first son initially?" That catches her off balance. She starts stammering, denying it immediately, total panic mode. He points out she is 2 years older than the second son. Wouldn't they become the laughingstock of the town? Then he chuckles, noting that older women dating younger guys is actually trending right now. Shinner argues that people will think they are just using her to leech power off the Qin family, like they had to settle for the spare heir because Qin Feng was taken. Lin Hao sees red. He screams that anyone insulting his girl gets their entire bloodline deleted. Everyone outside definitely heard that. Shinner begs him to lower the volume. He quickly apologizes, promising to keep it down. But she stands her ground. She is not marrying Qin Hao. Hard pass. Then Dad drops the bomb. "You like Qin Feng, don't you?" She immediately throws up walls. She calls the guy a narcissist, asking who would ever like a jerk like that. Dad takes that as a solid yes. He declares it a done deal, leaving Shinner totally shook. She stomps out of the room. She yells that he clearly hates her because that is the only logical explanation. Lin Hao is left standing there, totally baffled by teenage girl logic. A nearby servant looks like she wants to spill some tea, but she holds back. Meanwhile, Qin Hao is chilling in the courtyard, thinking about the whiplash shift in vibes. One second they are throwing hands, and now everyone is planning weddings without asking him. He shrugs it off though, skipping the romance drama works just fine for him. In his book, as long as he has Lin San around to farm for XP, he is good to go. And Lin San feels the chill, thinking, "Why do I feel like I am being watched?" Cut to Lin Shinner in a field doing the classic, he loves me not," routine with a poor flower. She rips off another petal, but gets annoyed when the flower gives the wrong answer. Forget the dumb plant, she decides to make a move. She spots our MC and calls out, but he is too busy asking his dad if he can go play with brother Lin San again. She has to pivot fast. She corners Lin San, pressing him on exactly where he's headed, and why he totally ghosted her. The dads lock eyes instantly, recognizing a golden setup. With suspicious hype, Lin Hao orders Lin San to escort Lin Shinner, and the young master for a city tour, basically acting as their bodyguard. Qin Hao immediately realizes he's just the +1 here, in a literal buy one, get one deal. But honestly, if Lin San does the heavy lifting, he's cool with just tagging along. The squad rolls out, Lin San taking point as they hit the bustling streets of Huanggu Marketplace. Our MC is already plotting, operating on the logic that Heaven's chosen ones are human metal detectors for god-tier loot. So the plan is simple. Whatever Lin San spots, he snatches. The second Lin San's fingers twitch toward an item. Boom, our boy intercepts, slamming cash down before the shopkeeper blinks. Score, 300 villain points. For swipe blocking the chosen one's herb. It becomes a game every time Lin San makes a move, our protagonist is already there. He's vacuuming up the entire inventory, completely abandoning any attempt at being low-key about his hoarding. The system goes crazy, spamming rewards another 300 villain points for aggressively hijacking the chosen one's destiny. Lin San is visibly steaming while our MC smirks, deciding that being the freebie actually comes with some sweet perks, though Lin San is definitely starting to suspect this rich kid has a few screws loose. And honestly, he's not wrong. Lin Shinner tries to pull focus, begging the MC to check out a trinket. His response, "Move, you're in my line of sight." Brutal shutdown. She stomps her foot, whining about the neglect, but our boy has zero bandwidth for drama. But then plot twist, she flips the script, cooing that his savage attitude is exactly why she's crushing on him. They push deeper into the bazaar, our MC scanning the horizon like a radar hungry for the next score. Suddenly, an item catches an eye at a stall, and our boy's spidey senses go off the charts. Boom, Lin San and a random girl lock horns over dibs, literally radiating anime battle auras in the background. Our MC swoops in, cutting the tension to ask the price. The merchant quotes 880, 8 spirit stones. Sold, he figures, if two heaven's chosen ones are fighting over it, this thing must be legendary. Lin San's jaw drops at the lack of haggling, but our boy just shrugs. 888 stones, that's pocket change. Ding, the system confirms he just wrecked a chosen one's lucky break, rewarding him with a sweet lottery ticket. Our boy knows it's the real deal. But staring at this rusty cauldron, he's got no clue what makes it tick. To the naked eye, it's junk. He can't read its stats, which is mildly alarming. Enter the random girl, giving him the puppy eyes. "Big brother, can I have it?" Gear turns in his head. If his villain system is glitching, maybe a chosen one can unlock it. He offers a loan, she can borrow it for a few days. If she coughs up 8 spirit stones, he'll graciously absorb the 880 cost himself. The kid nods, hook, line, and sinker. But wait, our boy flips the script instantly. Actually, make it 800. He snatches her entire coin purse, draining her life savings in one go. And this poor naive soul thanks him for being such a generous big bro. System chimes in 500 villain points. For scamming a clueless chosen one. Our MC just shakes his head. What a gullible kid. Lin San drifts toward the next stall, but our strategist is already 3 steps ahead. He clamps a hand on Lin San's shoulder, loudly declaring, "I'll take the entire stock." Lin San is getting paranoid. He feels the young master's eyes burning a hole in his back, like he's specifically flexing on him. It's bizarre. Meanwhile, our MC suppresses a grin. Too close. He almost missed that haul. The duo continues their chaotic sweep of the marketplace, scanning for gold. Naturally, our boy's gaze is glued to whatever Lin San's targeting. But before Lin San can grab it, Lin Shinner dives in, snatching the loot. Mine. She pivots to the MC, asking if he's done shopping, clearly desperate for a crumb of attention. Suddenly, Lin San gets jittery. He stammers an excuse about urgent business and bails. Lin Shinner is left blinking in the dust, totally lost on why the master and the servant are acting like weirdos. Cut to a green-haired beauty walking with Chin Hao. Hearing the lie that Lin San is sick, she jumps at the chance to take his place as the escort, but homeboy shuts that down instantly. Rejection doesn't faze her though. She declares she's only here for Lin San. She actually admires his Sigma male rejection, cheerfully promising to return tomorrow. And Chin Hao, he's just standing there forced to take the L. Meanwhile, Lin San caught the whole conversation and is practically dying of secondhand embarrassment, replaying the cringe on a loop in total disbelief. Cut to later that night, our purple-haired servant is having a full-blown existential meltdown, crying about his shattered dreams of being a top-tier butler. He keeps stressing that he signed up for service, not whatever this sketchy setup is. Let's just say the job description took a weird turn. The next morning, the gossip mill is on fire. The official engagement between the Qin and Lin families drops, and the whole city is buzzing. Deal sealed. The families swap their goodbyes as the Lin clan packs up to bounce. And our boy is already crunching the numbers, realizing his double trouble treasure radar just got cut in half now that they're leaving. Lin San peeps from the carriage, looking like she's ready to ghost this drama for good. But hold up, green hair is back on screen. And Lin San looks like he wishes the ground would just swallow him whole. She's already secured her spot in the ride, while our MC stares her down with zero subtlety. She starts turning beet red, convinced the young master is checking her out. Spoiler alert, he definitely isn't. Back at the Qin mansion, the plot is about to thicken. Our protagonist opens his HUD daydreaming about how nice it would be to just ditch everything and run away with Lin San. But then he spots his balance, 150,000 villain points, plus a lottery ticket. Honestly, not too shabby for a few days of grinding. He is hyped to see what the RNG gods have for him. And honestly, same. The system comes in clutch, dropping a god-tier Buddhist technique called Heavenly Dragon's Might. It's a demon-slaying crit machine. Instantly, the energy hits him like a truck, blasting gold aura everywhere. A colossal golden dragon spawns overhead, and the visuals are absolutely bonkers. The dragon lets out a roar that shakes the tectonic plates, putting everyone in a 10-mile radius on high alert. Our guy tanks all that divine juice, his body glowing like a supernova. When the light show finally fades, he's slumped over, totally gassed, wheezing like he just ran a marathon. He spots a sick dragon tattoo on his shoulder, his new pass to spam god-level Buddhist moves. But the mana keeps glitching out, and he is straight up suffering right now. The energy goes nuclear, erupting in a blinding gold flash. When the dust settles, our MC is standing in the ruins of what used to be his bedroom. Wreckage everywhere. Dropping a well-deserved curse word, he realizes he needs to act cool and pretend he meant to blow up his room. He smashes the upgrade button. System says bet, and another tsunami of gold power slams into him. As he screams his lungs out, right on cue, his dad and the family ancestor kick the door down, screaming his name in panic. The ancestor is shook, gawking at the kid's terrifying talent, while dad is just staring at the structural damage to his house. The system hits him with a congrats on stage 3 notification. That little stunt cost a cool 100,000 villain points. Oh, add another 30,000 for the Transcension Realm upgrade. MC starts sweating bullets. 130,000 points. Poof, gone. He's grieving his savings harder than a breakup. Outside, there is a gaping hole in the roof, and the ancestor is screaming for the premium medkits and elixirs. He is not playing around barking orders for everyone to hustle. Cut to the next day at the Imperial Court. Officials are losing their minds over the kin alliance, demanding heads roll. But one advisor steps up, suggesting they chill out. Weird stuff is happening, and a civil war is too pricey right now. Another guy backs him up, dropping facts. The Yin, Yu dynasty is buffed up, and 2 chosen sons just spawned as enemies. The Emperor is doing the math, knowing he needs the big families to squad up, but that gives the kin family's OP kids time to level up. He's salty that the royals didn't roll any chosen sons, or they wouldn't need these 4D chess games. Meanwhile, at the kin HQ, they're decoding the Imperial moves, and someone is ready to throw hands if it goes down. They break it down. With the new alliance and the rival dynasty lurking, the royals would risk it all to attack now. The ancestor drops some wisdom. Suffering from success means you become a target, and the Emperor wants a speedrun war. Our MC is eavesdropping from the hallway, realizing the royals are grouping up hard, just to stay on top. He peeps through the crack, wondering if the server is really about to reset into full-blown war. He weighs the option to bail, just cut and run right now, but he shuts his eyes, crushing that cowardly thought. He's staying. He knows the drill. As a transmigrator, the rule was simple: catch, no feelings. Attachments are just bullseyes on your back. But the Qin clan, for 8 years they've treated him like gold. He can't just stand by and watch them get slaughtered. Then it clicks. A master plan to fix this mess. He kicks the door open, storming in to face his ancestor and father. He announces he's found the answer. His dad immediately screams at him to get out, while the ancestor barks at the old man to zip it. The Ancient One is intrigued, though. He leans in, asking to hear the boy out, ignoring the father's fuming glare. Ignoring the tension, our main character breaks it down. The entire threat hangs on one simple fact: him and Qin Hao. They've tipped the scales too far. If they vanish from the board, the pretext for war evaporates. The ancestor shakes his head. Hiding isn't enough. The royals won't stop hunting until the brothers are dead or crippled. Our boy smirks. He knows. In fact, he was banking on that exact logic. Then he drops the nuke. The solution is brutality. He's going to rip the supreme bone right out of Qin Hao's chest. Since it'll regenerate anyway, the ancestor actually considers it. But Qin Feng's dad, he goes absolutely ballistic. Hauer is 5, he argues. A toddler. You can't put a kid through that hell. But the ancestor cuts in. True power isn't just a bone. It's grit, spirit, and most importantly, destiny. Losing the bone is the test. Hauer needs to survive the trauma, hide away, and rise as a true supreme when it grows back. The script is flawless. The jealous older brother, consumed by envy personally, carves out the supreme bone and flees. Once the crime is discovered, the family head will feign rage and strip Qin Feng's name from the records. A kill order will ring out across Huanggu. While little Hao heals, Feng takes the fall. Hunted, hated, a traitor to his own blood. He'll endure the nightmare until his brother is strong enough to redeem him. The dad isn't buying it. Cruelty, no. If the Imperials want to fight, he'll give them a war. Screw the royals. He grabs his son's shoulders, swearing to shield both him and Hauer, no matter what come. Our MC stands tall. He'll take the shame. He'll act the villain, even if it costs him his life. Ding, the system loves this noble hypocrite act. Reward unlocked: a new inventory skill. The ancestor issues a final warning. Once you pull that trigger, there's no reset button. No regrets allowed. Feng spouts some poetic nonsense about sharpening swords and flowers blooming in snow. Very dramatic. But inside, he's screaming. Finally, 8 years of waiting, he just wants to dig that bone out. Give him those unrivaled eyes so he can go chase some baddies. The ancestor finally caves. The old man roars his approval, but the dad is crushed. He collapses, hitting the floor, begging, pleading for another way. Feng watches his father break down in total desperation. Mentally, our MC is annoyed. This melodrama is ruining his flow. The ancestor grips the father's shoulder. It's cold math. This way the family survives even the worst-case scenario. He's only 8, the dad sobs. Feng gently pulls his father up. No kneeling. Not today. He vows they'll both come back alive. With that promise, Qinfeng turns his back on safety. His dad screams his name, watching his boy's silhouette against the blinding light of the doorway, whispering broken apologies. Later that night, little Qin Hao sleeps like an angel, unaware of the monster creeping in. Wait, that's not a boy. That's a girl. Waking up. Doesn't matter. Qinfeng towers over her, lightning tearing up the background. It's go time. She smiles, reaching out innocent and sweet. Brother then. He strikes. Slash. A scream rips through the air. She stares up, blood bubbling from her lips, totally confused. Brother. She gasps. Feng's face is stone. I'm taking the bone, he says, ripping it from her body. Jackpot, wounding the chosen one. Putting his life on the line. That's 800,000 villain points. Power floods his veins. He clutches his face as his eyes ignite with a blinding supernatural glow. A mystical cauldron materializes next to him. He checks the goods. So these are the unrivaled eyes. He kicks the healing cauldron toward the bleeding kid. Stupid baby brother. Yeah, the girl is Qin Hao. Don't ask. He vaults out the window. The bone was just a loner. The eyes were the real prize all along. As he vanishes, the cauldron glows, wrapping the dying child in life-saving light. Mission accomplished. Under the relentless assault of a torrential downpour, a solitary figure kneels in the courtyard outside Qin Hao's quarters. It is Qin Feng, drenched in rain and stained with the crimson evidence of his deed. The crushing weight of his sins pins him to the mud. Inside, the patriarch struggles to physically restrain the mother, who is absolutely shattering under the devastating revelation. Qin Feng lifts his gaze to the parents he has betrayed, the storm raging around him, mirroring the chaos within. His father holds his sobbing wife in a vice grip, trying to keep her from falling apart. They are a portrait of broken hearts in an impossible nightmare. With blood streaking, his face mixing with the rain, Qin Feng chokes out a final announcement he is leaving. He bids a hollow farewell to the people who raised him, then vanishes, vaulting across the slick rooftops into the pitch-black, stormy night like a phantom. The mother breaks free and explodes into the courtyard, her voice shredding the silence as she screams her son's name. Her face is a mask of pure, unadulterated anguish. Hot tears mix with cold rain as she wails for him. She crumples to her knees, screaming her grief into the void of the empty, rain-soaked darkness. The emotional overload is too massive. Her eyes roll back and she collapses. The father rushes in, barely catching her before she hits the stones, desperately calling her back to consciousness. Beyond the heavy gates of the Qin estate, our protagonist pauses for one final look, mentally severing ties with his past life. Suddenly, the ancestor's voice echoes in his mind via telepathy. The voice warns him that by sunrise, his death warrant will be plastered across every corner of Honghu and demands to know his escape route. Qin Feng answers with zero hesitation. He declares he is heading straight for the Yingshu dynasty. The ancestor commands him to survive and return one day, and as Qin Feng turns his back on his home, the system decides to reward his two-faced villainy by doubling his inventory slots. It then cheekily asks if he has developed a severe allergy to romance, which to be fair is a valid question, seeing as he is obsessed with grinding for power. Cut to the next morning. The sun breaks over the Qin estate, oblivious to the tragedy. A cheerful maid with cute braids skips along with a wash basin chirping about how the sun is already shining, directly on the young master's backside. But her morning routine hits a brick wall when she spots something that makes her drop the basin in pure horror. She sprints through the corridors, shrieking for help at the top of her lungs, announcing that the second young master has been brutally attacked. A panicked crowd swarms around the injured Qin Hao, who looks like a mummy wrapped in bandages. The whisper network ignites. The attacker was the eldest young master. The servants go into denial mode, insisting Qin Feng is the definition of polite, refined, and brilliant. There is no way their golden boy could break bad like this. But the bloody evidence is undeniable, and the servants start exchanging nervous, fearful glances. The father has to sell the performance of a lifetime roaring in fake fury, but the physical toll of the stress is instantaneous. His body betrays him, and he starts hacking violently. He coughs up a mouthful of blood and hits the deck, gasping out his son's name. The reality of the situation crushes him. Servants scramble to catch him, yelling frantically for the family head to intervene. Someone steps up to feed the official cover story to the masses. Qin Feng was secretly consumed by jealousy and snatched his brother's supreme bone, and then bolted once he got caught red-handed. The ancestor steps into the spotlight to drop the official decree. Qin Feng is now exiled and holds a kill-on-sight status. A worried servant whispers that, without the supreme bone, And with Qin Fang gone, the family has zero leverage for the upcoming war. The ancestor shuts that down with cold pragmatism, declaring that anyone with such savage behavior is not worthy of the Qin bloodline anyway. Meanwhile, over at the Great Xia Dynasty Palace, the emperor is practically dancing with joy, celebrating that one rival prodigy is crippled and the other is a fugitive. He bursts into manic laughter, claiming the heavens are sponsoring the Great Xia Empire's success, and immediately orders a fresh batch of concubines to celebrate. The officials bow like synchronized swimmers, chanting, "Long live the emperor," but deep in the forest, our boy is vibing on the back of a donkey. He is grinning like a Cheshire cat because he finally hit the jackpot 1 million villain points saved up. He smashes that exchange button. On his holographic interface, energy crackles around him as the system congratulates him on dropping 1 million points. On a single item, the 100% Great Completion card. Instantly, his 33 Heavenly Fortune art skyrockets, hitting 100% mastery in a split second, making this entire tragic exile arc totally worth the trouble. Just like that, our anti-hero is already flexing his brand new power upgrade. But then a sound in the distance makes his ears twitch. Even the donkey gives him a side-eye that says, "You hearing this drama?" Our guy immediately shifts into action mode. He goes to investigate the commotion. And what does he stumble upon? A pack of goons surrounding someone on the main road. And naturally, the victim is a breathtaking beauty. Because of course she is. Our protagonist realizes he has been in a dry spell with zero female interaction for 8 years. And suddenly, this side quest feels very mandatory. The girl shrieks as one of the creeps invades her personal space. This is it time to trigger the hero saving the beauty trope. He launches himself from the tree branch, ready to make a superhero landing. But hold up, some random guy beats him to the punch and is already rearranging the thug's face. This mystery swordsman just completely hijacked our protagonist's main character moment. He stands like a human shield in front of the girl, lecturing the bad guys about the ethics of harassing women in daylight. And the girl is already staring at this new guy, with literal hearts in her eyes. Are you kidding me right now? The thugs start puffing their chests out, dropping the name of the mighty Tiger Gang to scare them. But one goon spots something intriguing and yells for the boss to take a look. It's a bounty poster plastered with Qin Feng's mug screaming 100,000 spiritual stones for his head. The goons grinning like he hit the jackpot, hollering about their big payday, but Lin steps up, blade bared and ready to rumble, demanding to know what's going down. He side-eyes Qin Feng, wondering if these bozos are old pals of his. Our main man hasn't got a clue who these random scrubs are, but then the whole squad pops some shady-looking pills. Instantly, they start hulking out. Lin clocks them as berserk pills, nasty stuff that doubles your combat specs. Hold up though, if they just wanted to mess with the girl, why the performance enhancers? The implications hit Lin like a truck, and he visibly shudders at the gross possibilities. Honestly, big mood, but there's no time to dwell on the cringe. He's got to drop them before the drugs fully kick in. With a single blinding flash of steel, he slices through the entire crew in one go. The guy's blade work is straight up lethal, leagues above his old level, and right on cue, the system chimes in to congratulate Qin Feng. 300 villain points just for existing nearby. Even Lin looks shook by the sheer destructive force of his own attack. Realizing he's leveled up, Qin Feng strolls over, casual as you please, greeting him like a long-lost homie. The girl drops her name Z1 and thanks the duo for the save, giving Lin the perfect chance to play the noble hero. She's eating it up while Qin Feng is standing there like, "Hello, am I invisible?" Suddenly, one survivor starts crawling away, spitting threats about the 100,000 stone bounty, ensuring their doom before launching a signal flare sky high. The Tiger Gang crest blazes overhead for all to see, and the goon cackles maniacally about his boss, who's a heavyweight at the third stage of the spiritual martial realm. Lin steps up to Z1, swearing to protect her no matter the odds. Qin Feng shoots him a thumbs up, wishes him luck, then grabs Z1 and absolutely books it. No way is he letting Lin hog the hero moment. Meanwhile, over at the Kuksue Mountain ruins, some very interested parties spot the flare. The boss grins, realizing they've finally sniffed out Qin Feng's trail. When a minion mentions the ruins, the leader doesn't even blink. He declares, they're hunting Qin Feng first because that bounty is basically guaranteed cash for their crew. Back to the chase, Lin watches Qin Feng bolt, and the absurdity of the situation sinks in. He scrambles after them, yelling for Qin Feng to pump the brakes. Z1 is totally confused, since Lin just swore to protect her, and the system pings with a reward. 500 points for wrecking Lin's cool moment. Qin Feng is hyped he can farm villain points just by stealing the protagonist's thunder. When Lin finally catches up and asks why run when Qin Feng is clearly OP, our boy launches into a passionate monologue, claiming real men don't lean on others' power. He wants to carve his path solely with his own strength. Internally, though, he's telling the system to zip it, since it's clearly roasting him. Ironically, Lin buys the act completely, saying he respects Qin Feng's ambition. Qin Feng pivots, asking why Lin isn't chilling back in Tianjin City. Lin explains, he's out here to gain experience before heading home. Ziwan pipes up that she's on a similar journey, causing Qinfeng's eyes to narrow. After devouring novels for 10 years, he knows the subtext when protagonists say experience. They claim it's self-improvement, but they're really hunting ancient ruins, epic loot, or gorgeous women. And the beauties they save, always spoiled rich girls who conveniently can't tie their own shoes, because protagonists baby them until they're totally dependent. Eyeing Ziwan's luxe outfit and clueless vibe, he decides she's a worthy investment. Later, the squad finds a nice, cozy cave for the night, roasting meat over a fire. Lin immediately activates simp mode, offering his share to Ziwan like the gentleman hero he is. She takes it with a sweet smile, looking absolutely adorable. But Qinfeng ruins the vibe, teasing that, since she's eating his food, she'll have to repay him later, causing the poor girl to nearly choke. He suggests splitting guard duty, assigning Lin the graveyard shift. While keeping watch outside, Qinfeng remembers that unused lottery draw from when he snagged that supreme bone. Naturally, he decides to spin the wheel while snacking on some chicken. Because why not? The system goes wild, announcing he's won a god-level skill, non-existent space snatch, which sounds incredibly sus. The power manifests as these glowing spatial portals that can. Turns out this guy has sticky fingers that defy the laws of physics. Qinfeng wastes zero time testing the waters, literally snatching a stone out of thin air. His expression, pure euphoria. He realizes this isn't just theft. It's practically X-ray vision straight out of those overpowered fantasy novels, capable of seeing through layers, and he marks it as S-tier loot. But then, his gaze drifts back to the cave where Shi Yuan is catching some Z's, and yikes, that look on his face screams villain arc. He lets out this low, mischievous chuckle that is giving off massive red flags. And seriously, someone call the cops on this man. He creeps back to the entrance, locks onto his target, and triggers the ability while she's snoozing away, and yoink, suddenly he's clutching her specific unmentionables. And his face, total panic, because that was not on the agenda. Shi Yuan snaps awake instantly, realizing she's feeling a little too breezy in the chest department. She crosses her arms, looking absolutely mortified, screaming for answers. Then the gears start turning in her head. 3 people in the squad. Qinfeng is outside on patrol, which leaves exactly 1 suspect, sleeping right beside her. She goes feral, chasing poor Lin around the cave, demanding he hand over the goods, while Lin is confused out of his mind. Enter Qinfeng, strolling in with maximum chill, asking, "Yo, what's the drama? What did Brother Lin steal?" Shi Yuan points a shaking finger at the accused while Lin sits there with literal question marks popping over his head. And ding, the system drops 500 villain points for flawlessly framing the hero and tanking his reputation. Mission: make the goddess loathe the protagonist. Accomplished. Shi Yuan stomps off in a rage, leaving our boy standing there, knowing he's guilty as charged. Lin asks what got into her, and Qinfeng hits him with the classic innocent shrug, claiming he's clueless. But suddenly, a blood-curdling scream rips through the air, freezing them both in place. Lin goes full hero mode, grabbing his blade and sprinting out. Meanwhile, Qinfeng's brain is working overtime. Wait, is this a setup? Did the hero orchestrate a damsel in distress, moment to fix his rep? Nah, screw laying low. Time to hijack the spotlight. He explodes forward, blasting past Lin with Mach speed, leaving the protagonist eating dust and wondering what kind of god-tier movement art that was. A streak of energy, tears, toward the chaos. He arrives just in time to see Shi Yuan staring down a gargantuan saber-toothed tiger, and immediately announces his arrival like a main character. He swoops in to scoop her up and folks the look she gives him. It hits. Different. He's got her in a perfect princess carry, dodging claws left and right. And let's be real, Shi Yuan is not hating this. The close-up on her blushing face tells the whole story. She is definitely catching feelings for young Master Qin right now. They stick the landing and she breathlessly thanks him for the save. But the kitty isn't done playing. The beast crashes through the timber, hungry for round 2. "Watch out," she screams. He steps in to shield her like a gentleman, but on the inside, he's freaking out because his hand definitely grazed a no-fly zone during the rescue. He prays she didn't notice. But the awkward tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. Lin finally catches up, shouting that it's a 9th stage, transcending realm beast, and they need to team up. But Qinfeng, he's already cooking up a scheme, realizing if he flexes hard enough here, he might just steal the protagonist's girl permanently. Team up. For this trash, he flashes the most arrogant smirk in history, telling Ziwen to sit back and watch the show. And she actually looks worried, score 1 for Qinfeng. Then he launches himself straight at the monster, with zero hesitation. Lin is screaming at him to stop being an idiot, insisting on the power of friendship strategy. Qinfeng just yells, "You're annoying," and unsheathes his blade energy, crackling like wild electricity. He swings, putting his whole back into it, and unleashes the heaven-slaying sword technique in 4K resolution. The steel bites deep, drawing blood and a pained roar. But this cat isn't folding yet. Its eyes glow demon red as it winds up a counter. Shi Yuan screams a warning, terrified for her knight in shining armor. As the beast charges, Lin tries to jump in to help, and Qin Feng is internally screaming, "Stop trying to steal my thunder, bro." So he charges up, shouting, "Heavenly Dragon Technique." A massive golden dragon manifests from pure energy, looking absolutely devastating. It slams into the tiger with enough force to register on the Richter scale. Boom! Smoke everywhere. Qin Feng watches the fireworks as the tiger drops dead, and Ding System reward 500 points for successfully blocking the protagonist from showing off. Lin is jaw-dropped, totally speechless. Shi Yuan rushes over, eyes sparkling, gushing about his insane power level, and Qin Feng plays it cool, calling it a minor trick. But on the inside, his legs are shaking like jelly. That last move wiped him out way more than he anticipated. Suddenly, a slow clap echoed from the tree line. Head snapped toward the noise. A stranger steps out, hyping up young Master Qin's impressive technique. But that smile is ice cold. It's the Tiger Gang leader, and he's looking for answers. Regarding his slaughtered crew, Qin Feng doesn't hesitate. He points right at Lin, introducing him as Big Bro, and claims they gotta get through the boss first. Then he snatches Z1, announcing he's taking a break while leaving these losers. To his brother, Lin smirks, realizing he's been played, and the system pings with 2,000 villain points for successfully setting up the hero. The gang leader wastes 0 time splitting his forces, sending goons after Qin Feng, while he personally squares up against Lin. Now Lin is staring down a third-stage spiritual martial realm cultivator, which is basically bringing a toothpick to a gunfight. The gang leader launches himself at Lin, weapon spinning, aiming to end this in a single heartbeat. Steel clashes against steel, with an impact that lights up the whole woods. But Lin holds his ground, parrying strikes while dropping side characters, left and right. Meanwhile, Qin Feng is practically hauling Z1 through the brush, and she has the nerve to ask if Lin is okay. Qin Feng tells her to chill. Lin is Heaven's chosen one, with massive plot armor. She looks at him like he's crazy, asking what Halo. But before she can question his sanity, a poison dart slams into her back. Z1 drops, and Qin Feng's smooth exit plan just got messy. The attacker is already cheering, thinking he bagged an easy win. But Qin Feng isn't laughing, and that goon just signed his own death certificate. One strike sends the guy flying into a tree so hard, the bark shatters. Qin Feng rushes back to check on Z1, and our boy is legitimately stressed about the protagonist's girl. He starts kicking himself for burning all his energy, flexing earlier. Right on cue, the system offers a recovery pill for just 1,000 villain points. Sounds like a steal, so he buys it instantly, only to read the fine print. It only restores 10%. Typical scammer system pulling a fast one. So now he's smashing that buy button 9 more times like a maniac. Powered up, he starts channeling energy to heal Z1. But hold on, he's got questions. Because her wound is on her back, but the technique requires touching her chest, which is incredibly sus. Ignoring all medical logic, it actually works. Qin Feng stares at his hands, shocked that he got away with that, but he's not complaining. Later, he navigates the ravine, wondering if Lin survived the ambush. Then he walks into a total disaster zone, with trees obliterated everywhere. He thinks classic main character energy, ignoring power levels like they don't exist. Suddenly, footsteps echo nearby. Sounds like a whole squad incoming. He ducks out of sight just in time to catch some tea. Lin injured the gang leader and fled to some ruins. Since Lin did the hard work, Qin Feng decides to jump out and say hello. Like a total boss, the gang members recognize him and start barking threats, which is honestly cute considering they're about to die. He smiles, confirms his identity, and asks, "Where are these ruins at?" They think he's serving himself up on a platter and try to surround him, which was a fatal error. Qin Feng doesn't even let them breathe before unleashing a massive energy slash. The whole crew gets deleted in a single hit, he tells their corpses. They should have appreciated his mercy earlier, standing in the carnage like it's just another boring Tuesday. He loots a map off a body and sees Lin is heading to the Kuiwei Mountain ruins. He wonders why but decides that's a problem for future Qin Feng and pockets the intel. He heads back to Z1, who is still out cold, completely clueless about the massacre. While she's napping, Qin Feng figures it's the perfect time to install that supreme bone. Since they share blood, he figures his body won't reject the transplant. He grips his sword with a look that says, "I'm about to do something incredibly reckless," and he goes for it. Our boy plunges the blade into his own chest to carve out a slot for the bone. Gravity takes the wheel instantly. Turns out carving into your own chest is agonizing. Who knew? He grinds his teeth fighting the blackout. Just gotta jam this supreme bone in, and it is smooth sailing. Click. The graft connects and he erupts like a supernova, screaming as raw power torches his nerves. The fusion rejects him. At first, he is hacking up crimson while his physique tries not to explode. Finally, the lights go out. Last thought, yeah, this is pure torture. Cut to Z1, snapping awake only to find Qin Feng slumped right on top of her. Total panic mode. She starts roasting him for being a creep because from her angle, this looks super sus. She is literally kicking the guy, convinced he is faking a nap to cop a feel. Valid assumption given his history honestly. But then she spots the red puddle, and her vibe does a 180. She drags him to cover, checking vitals, genuine terror in her eyes. Then she clocks it. His aura is weird. The energy surging through him is wild, nothing like her moon god palace arts. Brain blast. She remembers fading out from that lethal poison, only to wake up fresh as a daisy. It hits her like a truck. Young Master Chin saved her, while she was out cold. But now his internal power is critically unstable. It needs a lid on it fast, or he is toast. Z1 steals her resolve. He had her back. No way she is leaving him to rot, when she is the only cure. She pulls him into a hug and starts pumping her own cultivation to balance his flow. And not gonna lie, the visuals are peak swirling pink aura wrapping them in a cocoon. As the turbulence settles, Chin Feng blinks open. Status update: Supreme Bone Integration, 100% complete. His stats just skyrocketed. But Z1 is blushing hard, mumbling something about his eyes looking off. Chin Feng is baffled. He feels great, but then he spots a swarm of bees buzzing past, and his perception glitches. They look wrong. Instinct takes over, and he snatches one out of the air. He pinches the insect effortlessly. Z1 is shook. His hand was basically a blur to her. But for Chin Feng, that bee was moving in ultra-slow motion. Why is she impressed? Then the penny drops. The Supreme Bone did not just buff his physique, it leveled up his unrivaled double pupils to god tier. Time for a field test. He turns to Z1 with a genius idea. Slap me. Full force. Z1 gives him the bombastic side eye. She thinks he is cracked, which is totally valid. But our boy is hyped, literally begging for a face 5. She starts apologizing preemptively, convinced this is a trap. She winds up and swings, moving at what she thinks is standard velocity. To Chin Feng's upgraded vision, she is moving through molasses. He intercepts her wrist with zero effort. He freezes processing the data. His kinetic vision is officially broken. Meanwhile, Z1 is trembling, asking if she messed up. Our boy switches gears from mad scientist to ultimate Rizlord, praising her soft hands before pivoting to their next move. He drops a hint about a secret loot spot, and she is instantly down. Surprise, surprise. Remember that map he looted off those Tiger Gang goons he dusted? It is finally go time. Right on cue, the system pings with a spicy villain mission. Objective: hijack the Chosen One's treasure. Reward: gold chest. Suddenly, it makes sense. Why Lin San ghosted Tianjin City. He has been treasure hunting out here. Z1 peeks into the swirling gateway, skeptical if their target is really inside. Chin Feng vouches for the intel, and they dive in. They spawn on the other side, and the vibe is heavy. Chin Feng clocks the signage immediately. The legendary mountain boundary. Z1 is still scanning for Lin, but Chin Feng is already shedding clothes like it is pool day. Standing there shirtless, he drops some lore. Chin family archives mention a spiritual hot spring here, perfect for leveling up. It sits on a dragon vein, pure energy. And the kicker: if a guy and a girl cultivate together here, time dilates. 1 day equals a full year. He figures spamming the heavenly dragon technique earlier wrecked his foundation during the bone merge. He needs a recharge before throwing hands with Lin. Then the realization smacks him. This is why his parents went MIA for 8 years. They were chilling here, bonding. Cue the flashback of kid Chin Feng, traumatizing himself with a book called 18 Styles. Suddenly, the twisted logic of this family clicks into place. But Chin Feng isn't here to psychoanalyze. He is strictly on a mission to optimize his time. Z1 rushes over, demanding to know the schedule when bam. She gets an eyeful of him from the rear and completely malfunctions. Frozen, solid. Then comes the sonic boom. She unleashes a scream loud enough to alert every living soul in the ruins. Chin Feng spins around, panic in his eyes. Instinct takes the wheel. He doesn't think. He just grabs her mid-wail, tucks her close, and launches them both off the ledge. Because in his head this was clearly the logical move. They plummet into the spiritual pool, crashing down in a spectacular explosion of water. For a split second, the glowing water swallows them whole. Shiwan breaks the surface, gasping for air, and hacking up half the pool. Dripping wet and absolutely furious, she immediately starts screaming, demanding to know what his malfunction is. But Chin Feng clamps a hand over the situation, warning her to zip it unless she wants to invite the entire Tiger Gang to their location. She freezes, realizing he didn't push her to be a jerk, but to save her life. When she asks why, he just hits her with that main character energy. Why else would I do it? Her entire vibe shifts instantly, and she scoots closer, checking him for injuries so she can apply some healing salve. Chin Feng waves it off, saying he doesn't need meds. But if she really wants to be useful, she can strip down and join him in the water. Shiwan's brain practically short circuits. She's stuttering, face burning, barely able to ask if he's serious about the whole soaking together thing. Chin Feng hits her with undeniable logic. If she keeps her gear on, how is her body supposed to absorb the spiritual energy? And if they don't skin-to-skin cultivate, the time dilation won't kick in. Shiwan does the mental gymnastics and decides, yeah, that actually tracks. She beams, agreeing that, for the sake of cultivation gains, getting naked is the only option. Cue the system notification, congratulating the host for successfully gaslighting an innocent girl from a noble family. Boom, 300 villain points in the bank. Qin Feng turns away with a smirk, muttering he didn't really trick her, then immediately admits to himself, okay, yeah, I totally played her. They settle in to cultivate, with Steam conveniently censoring all the good bits. Honestly, this scene is giving major romance anime vibes. As the dual cultivation begins, 3 days pass in the pool, which equals 3 years of training time. Qin Feng is deep in the zone when he feels it. The bottleneck he's been chipping away at finally shatters. A shockwave of pure energy blasts outward. The system confirms he just hit stage 3 of the Transcension realm. That's a cool one. 1,000 villain points richer. Meanwhile, outside the ruins, the Tiger Gang is losing their minds, wondering why the ground is shaking like an earthquake. Walls start crumbling around them. Qin Feng's power-up destabilizes the entire zone. The gang breaks through the rubble only to find Qin Feng and Shi Wan just sitting there, both clearly missing a lot of clothing. Everyone just stares in deafening silence because this is peak awkwardness for everyone involved. Shi Wan immediately starts panic-waving, screaming that it's not what it looks like, which is exactly what guilty people say when it is exactly what it looks like. One thug recognizes Qin Feng, and the boss screams to bag them both. Shi Wan asks why they're obsessing over him specifically, and our boy shrugs, claiming it's probably because his face card never declines. Shi Wan is left standing there, speechless at the sheer audacity of this man. The gang leader barks that they're surrounded, choose the easy way or the hard way. Qin Feng just laughs, asking if they are sure they have him surrounded, deciding this is the perfect warm-up for his new upgrades. The goons rush him. Having zero clue, they're running straight into a meat grinder. Qin Feng summons his arsenal, explaining that with this much trash to take out, he'll test all 9 swords individually. The blades scatter each one, locking onto a different target, before snapping back together for one devastating combo strike. The swords shred through the gang members, like wet tissue paper turning the air into a red mist. The leader watches in horror, screaming, how does an 8-year-old have this kind of monster strength? One survivor tries to flee in pure terror, but you can't outrun a flying sword. It catches him easily. Another 100 points for the kill. When the dust settles, the system tallies up 232 kills and 23,000 villain points. Qin Feng tells a stunned Shi Wan to snap out of it so they can bounce, leaving her absolutely floored by his power level. Our boy just smirks, asking if the loot from this trip wasn't worth the trouble. I mean, he's not wrong. Shi Wan asks what's next, and he whips out that map he swiped from the Tiger Gang earlier. He points to a spot labeled Bloody Body Tree, which sounds ominous as hell. But when they get to the coordinates, they find a woman tied to the trunk. She looks absolutely stunning despite being totally wrecked. A squad of Tiger Gang goons surrounds her, laughing that she's weak because she just gave birth. Qin Feng's expression goes dark. Bullying a new mother is low even for these scum. Shi Wan is fuming so hard she pinches his arm, causing him to wince and tell her to chill. He retaliates by pinching her thigh and calls it even. That little comment earns him a cheapskate label, but their banter hits a brick wall the second a chilling sound cuts through the air. It's a massacre ahead. The gang is absolutely tearing into the woman, turning her into a pincushion with spears, while blood sprays like a horror movie set. They're relentless stabbing, with zero mercy, and honestly, it's sickening to watch as they dogpile on her. She doesn't even have room to breathe, let alone defend herself. Ziwan snaps, screaming for them to freeze. Because everyone has a breaking point. She steps right up to the boss, demanding to know if ganging up on a helpless woman is the mighty Tiger Gang's idea of valor. The leader clocks Qin Feng instantly, his grin widening like he just hit the jackpot, 2 targets for the price of 1. He taunts Qin Feng, reminding him that his last survival was a fluke, thanks to Lin San's interference. But luck has run out. Confidence radiating off him, he charges in his fist, glowing with lethal energy, ready to end this. Our boy doesn't even flinch. He catches the strike one-handed and roasts the guy's overactive imagination, suggesting he switch careers to fiction writing. With a casual flick of his wrist, Qin Feng yeets the leader across the clearing like he's tossing a crumpled paper ball. Qin Feng asks if he needs another demo, while the leader picks himself up, looking completely embarrassed in front of his crew. That humiliation fuels the rage. He screams that Qin Feng is begging for death. Ziwan tells our MC to save the girl while she handles this clown. He gives the nod and splits. The gang leader decides to stop playing games, unleashing his ultimate move, a massive fire tiger roaring with pure destruction. Qin Feng sizes up the tiger descending the mountain technique and gives it a solid meh. It's mildly interesting at best. But mildly interesting doesn't cut it. Our boy decides to show him real power, flaring up his golden dragon aura. Sword drawn, he drops the coldest line of the century, smirking as he tells the guy his dragon is just bigger. The disrespect has the leader seeing red. He decides to bet it all. Pouring every ounce of his soul into the fire tiger, Qin Feng claps back with heavenly dragon's might. And golden energy detonates. The golden dragon absolutely devours the tiger, swallowing the attack whole. The leader gets folded like laundry sent ragdolling through the air, but he's got company. Because the shockwave blasts his entire army away like leaves in a hurricane, the system pings a notification, 88 kills confirmed, depositing 8,800 villain points. Qin Feng shrugs, noting that accidental genocide wasn't really on today's to-do list. He casually observes that at this rate, the mighty tiger gang is going to be an endangered species. Dust settling, they regroup with the rescued rabbit demon woman, who looks like she's been through hell and back. She drops to her knees bowing and thanking the young master for saving her life. The backstory comes out, she raided the ruins for the blood body tree, desperate to cultivate her children's souls, but got jumped while she was still weak from childbirth. She pleads that she doesn't need much, just 10 pieces would save her kids. Qin Feng puts on his saintly hero mask, graciously agreeing to provide the 10 pieces because he's just that nice. Then he drops the bomb that'll be 10,000 high-quality spiritual stones per piece. Ziwan nearly chokes on air, and the rabbit woman's hope shatters. She admits she's broke. Qin Feng pivots instantly, suggesting they can work out an alternative payment plan involving resources. He whips out a pen and paper faster than a tax auditor, ready to itemize her entire inventory. But when she reveals she has 0 assets, Qin Feng looks genuinely shook. He's never met anyone this down bad in his life. As they walk, the woman tries her luck again timidly, asking if her savior might just give them to her. Qin Feng shuts that down hard. Rule number 1, don't ask stupid questions if your wallet is empty. They take a breather, and that's when the rabbit woman unveils her secret. It's her kids' tiny fluffy rabbit demons munching on berries. We are talking lethal levels of cuteness here. Ziwan's heart instantly melts. She's petting one, cooing, totally obsessed. The mother sees an opening and offers to let her keep one, since she's so fond of them. And wouldn't you know it, one baby bunny is already clinging to Ziwan, treating her like its new mama. Suddenly, the rabbit mother springs up and sprints into the forest, leaving them in the dust. Ziwan turns to Qin Feng, confused, asking what the protocol is for accidental adoption. The system chimes in with a crucial alert that little Fluffball is actually an epic-level demonic beast. The catch: it eats natural treasures. Qin Feng's eye twitches as he realizes this thing is the same rank as his brother, and requires a daily diet of expensive resources. No wonder the mom bolted. She was going bankrupt. Ziwan notices the gears turning in his head and asks what he's thinking. Our boy decides they're keeping it. Not for the cuteness, but because you don't say no to an epic-level investment. That demonic beast is basically a walking goldmine. Ziwan is cooing over it, calling it tender and sweet, completely oblivious to the fact that he is calculating its market value. He is purely thinking about ROI. She suggests Big Eater, since the thing inhales food like a vacuum, and Qin Feng actually strokes his chin considering it. But then she flips the script, deciding that sounds gross, and pivots to Little Rabbit. Qin Feng, being stubborn, doubles down on Big Eater. They bicker back and forth like an old married couple, until Ziwan finally throws out Xiao Bai, literally, Little White. Finally, something that doesn't suck. They compromise on Bai Fan Tong for the official paperwork, and Xiao Bai for the streets. Ziwan hits him with a pout, complaining she never gets her way. But their moment gets shattered when a massive energy pulse rips through the sky. Word hits the grapevine that someone spotted Lin San clutching a jade box. Suddenly, every cultivator in the zip code is zooming toward the drama. Qin Feng catches wind of the chatter. People are salty that the Lin family is trying to monopoly board all the loot. He spots the Shimen crew in the mix, and Ziwan confirms she heard Lin San's name drop. That is the cue our boy decides they need to crash this party. Ziwan is down for the ride without hesitation. They pull up to a cave entrance where the tension is already thick enough to cut with a knife. Voices are raised, demanding Lin San step aside. Let me paint the picture of the standoff going down at the tunnel mouth. A mysterious figure in black is offering a jade box to the so-called sword god's successor. Our protagonist is watching this exchange from the sidelines, and his spidey senses are tingling. Based on years of reading fantasy tropes, this guy is way too nice to be genuine. Real talk, if a chosen one gets his treasure stolen and stays chill about it, yeah, absolute destruction is loading. Qin Feng decides to let Lin San enjoy his own funeral, and drags Ziwan back, because who needs a front row seat to a disaster? Meanwhile, the Shimen rep is talking major trash roasting Lin San for claiming the Sword Genius title, when he cannot even crack a basic lock. To flex his family's superiority, he decides to smash the barrier, protecting the jade box himself. Steel slams into the energy shield, showering the area in sparks. That triggers Lin San to jump into the fray. His ego will not let him be upstaged. He unleashes his full power against the barrier, desperate to prove he is worthy of the Sword God title. Naturally, once the heavy hitters start swinging, the mob mentality kicks in. Everyone wants a slice of the pie. The crowd swarms the jade box, dumping their collective energy into shattering that shield. But here is the plot twist. The spell is not cracking. It is drinking their cultivation like a smoothie, and now they are stuck like glue. Then comes the boom. The energy backfires, blasting everyone away like ragdolls. Meanwhile, our protagonist and Z1 are chilling at a safe distance watching the fireworks. And yeah, it is a total horror show down there. Qin Fang knew that black-clad guy was bad news. And would you look at that, he is batting 1,000 on his predictions. The greedy cultivators are scattered everywhere, groaning in the dirt, their energy reserves running on empty. To add insult to injury, Lin San realizes the structural integrity of the ruins is failing fast. The Xeman guy starts screeching for everyone to bail before they get buried alive. But while the mob is losing their minds, that shady guy in black is standing there cool as a cucumber holding the jade box. He played them like a fiddle. He used their greed to break the seal so he could snag the loot. Our protagonist sees this and thinks, I can monetize this chaos. Suddenly the system goes ding, villain mission complete. He bags a gold treasure chest and a cool 1 million villain points for swiping the chosen one's destiny. Rocks are falling as the cultivators scramble for the exit. The keyman guy finally clocks that the mysterious man is holding the goods. He goes ballistic, screaming theft, and orders his goons to retrieve that box or die trying. His pride is absolutely shattered, but the mysterious man just smirks, clutching his prize tight. He is not sweating a bunch of drained losers. He whips out a spatial teleportation talisman, because pros always have an exit strategy. Magic swirls around him ready to beam him out, and the guy has the absolute audacity to give them a little wave goodbye. Shiman guy lunges in a desperate rage, but his sword slices through nothing but fading sparkles. He vanished just in time. The Z-Man guy is fuming, screaming that the teleportation will not take him far. Chase him down, he roars. Our protagonist and Z1 watch the angry mob thunder off into the distance, leaving the place conveniently empty. Z1 clings to Qin Fang, whispering that she is scared. Though honestly, the danger is basically zero now. Some straggler who got left behind calls them cowards for hiding in the bushes. Rich coming from a guy too weak to keep up with the pack. Z1 immediately starts poking fun at Qin Fang, asking if his feelings are hurt. They watch the dust cloud from the chase fade on the horizon. Qin Fang decides it is time to shadow the group. There is still profit to be made. Z1 looks at him like he is totally confused. Flipping the script, they dive straight into the chaos instead of running for the hills, trailing the action from the nosebleed section, just close enough to catch the fireworks. But Qin Feng's 4D chess brain is already spinning, sizing up the massive power gap between these heavy hitters. Calculated conclusion, he needs a power spike stat. Right on cue, the system slides into his mental DMs with a notification. Congratulations on popping that gold treasure chest and scoring Sword Intent. And snap, just like that, our MC immediately downloads a mastery over Sword Intent that usually takes top-tier geniuses decades to grind out. Suddenly, she won. Shivers detecting a monstrous wave of Sword Intent. She screams a warning about incoming danger, while Qin Feng plays innocent. She's telling him to watch his back, completely oblivious that the terrifying killer aura she's sensing is radiating right off him. Our guy actually finds it adorable. Like this intent is trying to flex on him. Buddy, he's the one who just unlocked it. Time for a mic drop. He channels that fresh energy and obliterates the rock formations with pure sword force, just a casual flex. Meanwhile, our mystery runner finds a cozy hideout to finally inspect the goods. Moment of truth. He cracks open the jade box, eyes wide, ready to claim whatever god-tier loot was worth risking his neck for. And it's air. The box is totally empty. Watch his face cycle through all 5 stages of grief in 4 seconds. He crashes straight into denial, frantically searching for a false bottom or a hidden switch. Spoiler alert, there isn't one. Back to the main event, Shiwan asks if he really just grasped Sword Intent. He shrugs it off like he just picked up a penny. She drops some lore. Lin San was hailed as the once-in-a-century sword genius. Why? Because the kid unlocked Sword Intent at age 12, a literal world record. Qin Feng raises an eyebrow. That's the bar. That's what passes for genius. He's totally unimpressed, treating their legendary world record like a participation trophy. Shiwan is stunned into silence, staring at this absolute monster. Then, the system makes an offer he can't refuse, 1 million villain points, in exchange for a guaranteed great completion card. Take my money. Shiwan is clueless about what's happening. Since the system UI is invisible to NPCs, the transaction dings. Purchase successful. And Qin Feng is about to break the power scaling completely. His sword intent maxes out to the great completion stage instantly. But wait, there's more. He's got one lucky draw left. And jackpot. He pulls the invincible sword heart. Even the name sounds broken. The invincible sword heart is the holy grail swordmaster's chase for lifetimes. The stats: a 10 times damage multiplier. Game over. Shiwan blinks. Did Qin Feng just get hotter? She starts wondering if her eyes are playing tricks on her, or if he actually leveled up his looks. She demands to know what kind of cultivation magic he's running. To cause such a glow-up, Qin Feng keeps a straight face and invents some garbage about the heart of humanity, which doesn't exist but sounds profound enough to sell it. After stacking 2 massive sword buffs, our protagonist is dying to test drive his new nukes, and just as he's scanning for a punching bag, Shi-wan spots movement on the horizon. Perfect timing. Qin Feng decides to show her a little souvenir. He whips out a bamboo scroll and asks if she recognizes the sage bamboo scroll. She goes into exposition mode. Apparently, this artifact was penned by ancient sages split into the classic trilogy, Heaven, Earth, and Humanity. Here's the kicker, only the chosen ones can even read the text. Whenever this bad boy drops into the world, it triggers total anarchy and bloodbaths because understanding it is a one-way ticket to godhood. Our MC is hooked, obviously. Who wouldn't want to peek at something that legendary? He grabs the scroll, cracking it open with this eager puppy dog look, ready to download some broken secret arts. But plot twist, our boy is totally confused. It's blank. He can't see squat. He argues that with his galaxy brain, IQ, and aura, Shi-wan gently breaks it to him. It's not about smarts, honey. It's about destiny. We're talking Buddha-level fate here. Our protagonist's reaction, peak villain energy. He yeets the scroll into the dirt, declaring if he can't use it, it's trash. Meanwhile, Xiao Bai, the cute bunny mascot, eyes the discarded mythical artifact and decides it looks comfy. The little furball hops right onto the ancient sage's treasure, treating it like a cheap rug. Qin Feng watches as Xiao Bai repurposes the scroll. That causes wars across the continent into a nap pad. Then, Shi-wan's brain reboots. She asks, where he even snagged this thing? And our boy enters internal panic mode, busted. Before he can drop an explanation, distant shouting cuts through the air. Someone is screaming liar and dropping the name Lin San. Qin Feng locks onto that name instantly. Lin San, the so-called #1 sword prodigy of the century. Our MC doesn't hesitate, he bolts straight for the noise because he knows the golden rule: where there's drama, there's loot. Ziyan is scrambling to keep up, yelling at her cheapskate brother to slow down as they crash a tense standoff involving Lin San's crew. They're facing down a mob of furious cultivators, while one poor guy is pleading for his life, begging them to just listen. It's that shady figure from earlier, and he is spiraling, literally screaming his lungs out, swearing the jade box he swiped was totally empty. But Lin San's squad is done talking. They suggest showing these clowns who they're messing with. Forget diplomacy. Lin San draws a blade that screams expensive, an absolute masterpiece of craftsmanship. With peak arrogance, he tells the crowd to feast their eyes. The two Zeman family members just freeze, looking completely bewildered. Then Lin San proves the hype is real, unleashing a wave of sword energy so massive, it distorts the air around them. Spectators gasp. Does a mere spiritual martial realm scrub actually think he can step up? One Shiman guy barely manages a block. He survives, but he's fuming, screaming about Lin San's ego. Lin San just maintains that punchable, smug expression, asking if NPCs ever get new dialogue lines because he's bored. We pan out to a bird's eye view, showing the battle lines drawn between Lin San and the Shimen clan. And guess who just pulled up to the party? Qin Feng scans the battlefield, but he doesn't see people. He sees walking XP bars. It's the perfect time to test drive his new upgrades. Our boy steps forward and just leaks a tiny bit of sword intent. The pressure hits them instantly. The Shiman cultivators start hyperventilating. An 8-year-old kid is flexing sword intent. That shatters the world record by 4 years. Even the genius Lin San didn't hit that milestone until 12. Ziyan watches stunned, realizing her brother leveled up again in just a few days. Lin San raises an eyebrow, noting that the stingy brat really loves the spotlight. The Shiman leader is paralyzed, trying to do the math. How does a Transcendent Realm rookie wield this kind of pressure? Then the horrifying realization hits him. That's not just intent. That's the legendary invincible sword heart. It shouldn't even exist. He starts stumbling backward. His brain breaks. Is this thing actually a child or some ancient monster wearing a kid's skin? But the younger Zeman brother, Zero, survival instincts. He mocks his elder for trembling before a toddler. Erlang steps up, thinking sword intent is no big deal, and calls Qin Feng out. He demands to know if this is the Qin family traitor, the one who stole his own brother's supreme bone. Qin Feng. He just smirks. Yup. Then he calmly asks if Erlang wants a piece of him. Erlang's face twists into a psychotic grin. That's exactly what he was hoping for. While his smarter teammate in the back is already writing their wills, our MC drops into a stance. He hits them with peak disrespect. You look a little flushed, bro. Tell you what, I'll give you 10 free moves. That snaps Erlang's patience. He screams about the insult and swears he's going to make this kid regret being born. Meanwhile, the Shimen members with actual brain cells are already sprinting away, screaming, "Run!" Someone yells about cowardice, but Erlang ignores the retreat orders. He roars that the Qin brat is going to taste steel. Qin Feng flashes that signature villain smile and curls a finger. Come get it. Erlang launches a full rant about talent and arrogance, completely triggered. He swears to take Qin Feng's head as a trophy. A whole squad of cultivators charges in at once. They figure they can swarm an 8-year-old with pure numbers. But our protagonist, he doesn't even blink. He stands frozen blade out, a terrifying blue aura swirling like a storm. Then, flash. It's an instant wipeout. Bodies drop and the system starts cheerfully pinging. Ding kill confirmed, ding kill confirmed. Villain points are stacking up like crazy. Meanwhile, back at the Chin family HQ, an elder and an official are reading a fresh intel report about their young master. He one-shot the leader of the Tiger Gang. The official is rubbing his temples, trying to process the physics of that. That gangster was third-level spiritual martial realm, he concludes. Fang must be spamming the Supreme Bone's power. The elder looks worried. If the kid gets addicted to borrowed power, it could corrupt his cultivation path forever. But the official shakes his head. The elder has mentored Feng for years. He knows the boy's ego is too big for that. He has his own pride. He won't be a slave to the bone. The official sighs. Anything else? Just when you think the drama has peaked, the scout drops another bombshell, revealing that the young master didn't just scrap with some thugs. He absolutely deleted the mighty Tiger Gang and erased the entire Shiman bloodline from existence. The official nearly chokes on air hearing this report. While the elder orders him to take a seat and breathe, he demands every gritty detail, and the messenger drops the mic with the revelation that the kid has unlocked both the Supreme Sword intent. The elder loses it, bursting into manic, ecstatic laughter, shouting that Qin Fang is basically a god in the making and the clan's golden ticket. But this tea has already spilled all the way to the Imperial Palace, where a guard bursts in screaming about a catastrophe. The Emperor of Great Sha barely glances up from his ancient scrolls, annoyed by the interruption. The guard spills everything about Qin Fang, from one-shotting a third-level cultivator to unlocking the legendary sword heart and intent. But the Emperor looks bored, wondering why everyone is panicking over some prodigy who went rogue without his family backing him. With zero hesitation, the Emperor casually orders a hit on the kid. The guard bows, glazing the Emperor's genius, and the death warrant is signed. Meanwhile, cut to the shore where Lin San is brooding. Watching Qin Fang and Zi Wan splash around in the water, his soul crushing under the reality that an 8-year-old has completely outclassed him in sword arts. Suddenly, the system slides in with the best notification ever, congratulating Qin Fang for shattering the Chosen One's ego and banking a massive 100,000 villain points. Our boy is shook by the pop-up, wondering if he really just farmed 100,000 points, literally just for breathing. Seeing a chance to farm more, Qin Fang calls out to Lin San with a devilish grin, hyping up Lin San's skills and innocently asking if the big brother could teach him some rookie moves. Lin San absolutely snaps, screaming at Qin Fang for trolling him since the kid already mastered the invincible sword heart. Yet as asking for tutorials, Qin Fang immediately activates his trap card, running to Z1 with teary eyes, whining that Lin San is bullying him when he honestly only knows how to swing a sword. Lin San is fuming at this obvious lie, but the system loves the drama, happily depositing another 100,000 villain points for the emotional damage. Then Ziwan steps in, roasting Lin San for being so harsh to the poor boy, since he's just a baby. That phrase hits Lin San harder than a blade, the words "just a child," critically wounding his pride, compounded by getting scolded by his crush. The system throws a party, dropping yet another 100,000 points, while Qin Fang hides a wicked, triumphant smirk, knowing he is absolutely playing this guy like a fiddle. Lin San tries to storm off, but Qin Fang isn't done yelling out some fake motivational speech telling him to stay strong, since he's still the genius of the century. And then he delivers the ultimate roast, claiming he only unlocked those god-tier moves by accident, while running away and ripping a fart. Maximum disrespect unlocked. Lin San is spiritually broken and walks away faster while the system dings with another 100,000 villain points for the psychological torture. But Qin Fang isn't letting this golden goose fly away screaming for Brother Lin to wait. Our main character literally starts chasing his victim, claiming they need to bond, which is genuinely horrifying. From Lin San's point of view, internally, Qin Fang is cackling because he just farmed 400,000 villain points in 2 minutes and refuses to let this walking ATM escape. We cut to a shot of Lin San, shrieking for him to stay back, while Qin Fang chases him like a predator. But suddenly, the vibe shifts, and the chase halts as everyone freezes, looking up to see an army descending from the heavens on a cloud. A terrifying commander clad in red and black armor steps forward, announcing that by the Emperor's decree, Ruihu is here to claim Qin Fang's head. The pressure radiating from this guy is so heavy, everyone on the ground feels gravity double. Lin San demands to know who this juggernaut is, and Qin Fang identifies him as the Emperor's personal Grim Reaper. Lin San runs the numbers and realizes this guy is way out of their league, and with that iron cavalry behind him, it's basically game over. Qin Fang pretends to panic, but internally his gears are turning. This is the perfect setup to make Ziwan fall in love with him. He puts on his award-winning innocent face, asking the commander who he's hunting. Zhang Ruihu isn't here to chat, booming his title across the valley and confirming he's here to delete Qin Fang. And then, Qin Fang pulls the ultimate manipulation tactic, begging the scary uncle to please spare Brother Lin and Sister Ziwan after he takes his life. Lin San and Ziwan are paralyzed with shock hearing this self-sacrifice from the usually stingy brat. Qin Feng turns to Ziwan, telling her not to tremble, promising that he'll shield her, and even if he dies, she'll be safe because he's the only target. When Ziwan tests his loyalty, asking if he's ready to bleed for her, our MC doesn't even blink. He'd lay it all on the line for Big Sis. Stepping into the line of fire with arms wide open, he basically dares the old man to strike, taunting, "Come on, I'm just an 8-year-old kid. Should be an easy frag, right?" Zhang Ruihu isn't playing games. He hoists his blade high, telling the brat to say his prayers. Ziwan loses it. She screams, absolutely refusing to let her petty little brother go down like this, emotions redlining. Boom. The heavens crack open. A massive surge of energy and lightning tears through the sky, zeroing in on their flying cloud. Qin Feng smirks. He rolled the dice and it looks like he hit the jackpot. He knows his soft life starts right now. Because dropping from the clouds is a colossal ice dragon and perched on its head, someone straight up ethereal. She's stunning. Crimson robes flowing, serving visuals that could topple empires. Touching down in the nick of time to save our protagonist's skin, looking like absolute perfection. Cut to the Qin estate. A messenger bursts in, gasping for air. Intel says the Emperor dispatched Zhang Ruihu. His mission, delete Qin Feng at the dynasty border. The Patriarch and the Ancestor. They flip out. Their golden ticket is about to get punched, and they are spiraling. The Patriarch starts screaming commands, rallying the 13 high guards. If Qin Feng drops, their entire master plan evaporates. Nobody wants that smoke. Back at the showdown, the Moon Celestial pulls up on her gigantic ice turtle beast, leaving everyone jaws on the floor. She drops her name, Moon Celestial. Top 5. Expert in the Yinwei dynasty. Translation, she's a walking apocalypse. Her eyes lock onto the pink-haired girl. Are you the Yinwei goddess? She asks. When she gets a yes, the Moon Celestial is absolutely vibing. Finding her niece out in the wild, that's lottery-winning luck. And honestly, just look at her. Dripping in elegance, red robes, cherry blossoms everywhere. It's like the artist blew the entire budget on her character design, and they nailed it. Zhang Ruihu, however, is not a fan. He tells the lady to check herself, reminding her, this is great Shia turf. She plays the innocent card, batting her eyelashes. Is it right to bully a fragile woman like me? The audacity is chef's kiss. Zhang Ruihu isn't buying the act. He charges up a lethal strike, ready to banish her, but she just casually tells him to stand down. The aura rolling off her, terrifying. One tap, that's all it takes. The Imperial Guard captain hits the dirt. His squad is screaming, panic mode activated. She just smiles. Next life, be nicer to weak girls. Absolute savagery. Emotional damage plus physical deletion. Then she blows a kiss. Like she didn't just delete the Emperor's top heavy. The soldiers rush their general. But he's flatlined, gone. The power gap leaves them paralyzed. Qin Feng spots an opening. He nudges Ziwan, we got a ghost, now. But Moon Celestial isn't done with them. She snaps her fingers, pop energy ripples out, and suddenly Qin Feng and Ziwan are suspended in midair. No consent needed. She eyes Ziwan. And where do you think you're running off to? Giving that look that says you're mine. Qin Feng is confused, wondering how he got dragged into this family drama. But Ziwan recognizes her. The lady beckons them with a velvet voice. Come here. Who says no to that? They touch down gently before her, and our boy's gears are already turning. She wants the tea. What's the situation? Ziwan drops the anti-bomb, confirming the bloodline. Meanwhile, Qin Feng's brain enters goblin mode. Maybe I should target this goddess instead. Auntie launches into a lecture, scolding Ziwan for ghosting the family and fleeing to Great Sha to hide. Ziwan pivots fast. She starts hyping Qin Feng, emphasizing he's only 8 years old. Yet, he's already unlocked Sword Intent and the Invincible Heart. That grabs the Celestial's attention. Is this the Emperor Talent Kid, she asks. The one who ripped out his brother's supreme bones. Cue the smooth moves. He looks her dead in the eye. Do you believe in love at first sight? Because this kid has zero chill. She laughs, asking if a toddler even knows what that means, accusing him of just liking pretty things. He doesn't even deny it. When I grow up, I'm marrying you. Bold claim. Ziwan is fuming, jealous that her aunt stole the spotlight. You're confident for a little guy, she teases. And his comeback. A true short king knows confidence isn't about size. It's about that audacious, shameless swagger. And our leading man is wearing the smuggest grin imaginable. The guy has zero regrets, because he meant every single cheesy pickup line. The Moon Celestial, she absolutely eats it up, playfully calling him a scoundrel while vibing with his energy. Meanwhile, Ziwan is practically third-wheeling in 4K, watching her crush hit on her own aunt, and her face is a total meme of secondhand embarrassment. But their rom-com moment gets rudely interrupted. The vibe shifts as soldiers surf in on a flying cloud, and look who crashes the party. It's Qin Feng's dad. He tries to slide into Qin Feng's DMs, telepathically whispering, just play along, I'm here to rescue you, act scared. Qin Feng rolls his eyes internally, thinking, seriously, Dad, you're interrupting my grind with this ultra-rich sugar mommy right here. So he ghosts his dad's plan and dives behind the Moon Celestial, screaming that the Qin family is here to murder him, putting on an Oscar-worthy performance of terror. His dad gets a connection error notification in his brain, and the look of sheer betrayal on his face is comedy gold. The Qin elder steps up with that fake polite villain energy, gaslighting the room about Qin Fang's crimes and demanding the Moon Celestial cough him up. Suddenly, Ziwan activates main character energy, stepping forward with blazing eyes, basically saying, "You want a piece of this, let's go." She stakes her claim Qin Fang is hers. The entire gallery, Moon Celestial, the elder, even the dad, freezes in jaw-dropping silence at her audacity. Ziwan doubles down, warning them to take a hike before things get ugly. She glances at her aunt for backup, and the Moon Celestial actually nods with respect, impressed that the shy girl finally grew a spine. The Moon Celestial runs the calculations, forcing Ziwan to leave now would wreck her mental state and ruin her cultivation potential. So she faces the elder and asks, "What exactly are you going to do if I say no?" The elder flares his dark aura, threatening to forget his manners, but she just hits him with a condescending smile, telling him he's way out of his league. Radiating unbothered queen energy, the massive Turtle Beast begins marching toward a rift, tearing open the sky. The Moon Celestial drops a casual, "Catch you later," as they vanish into the portal, leaving the Qin squad in the dust. But Qin Fang's dad misses the memo and decides to try hard, charging a fireball and screaming at the Moon Celestial to check her ego. The elder immediately bonks him on the head, roasting him for being an unfilial idiot who almost blew the cover. The dad stands there buffering, rubbing his skull and wondering how he messed up the script this time. The elder explains, this is actually a massive W, because now Qin Fang infiltrates the Moon Celestial Palace. The dad whines about being disrespected, but the elder scolds him for having zero vision, saying impatience ruins the long game, and smacks him again for good measure. They need an exit strategy, since everyone is watching, so the elder cooks up a plan instantly. He yeets a massive golden energy bomb toward the closing portal. While the dad wonders if blasting his son is really Father of the Year behavior, the beam rockets toward the target, and it becomes obvious this is all theater for the audience. The attack slams into the barrier, triggering a Michael Bay-level explosion. We get a cinematic shot of the turtle's shell drifting through the portal, completely unscratched. The elder starts screaming that Qin Fang used berserk drugs to corrupt their hearts, putting on a dramatic show for the soldiers. The troops panic, realizing those drugs in the forest will turn the local beasts into raging monsters, and they are basically sitting ducks. The formation collapses as everyone sprints in random directions, ignoring protocol in absolute chaos. The dad whispers, asking if the ancestor is actually serious about the drug lie, and the elder confirms he's fully committed to the bit as they tactical retreat. Cut to the Yinwei dynasties, Moon Celestial Palace, a location that looks like straight-up CGI fantasy heaven. Inside, maidens bow to the Moon Celestial as she struts in with Qin Fang and Ziwan. Our boy suddenly realizes the perks of the job. He is surrounded exclusively by gorgeous women, and he covers his eyes trying to keep his thoughts PG-13. But gravity betrays him, and he faceplants directly into a very soft, very dangerous situation that creates a view most men only dream of. Our hero suffers a critical nosebleed while cursing the writer for this spicy torture, closing the scene perfectly. With the fan service out of the way, the boss lady gets down to business, asking Qin Fang if he's ready to sign the contract and join up. Our boy is practically drooling at the prospect, because living in a palace full of waifus is literally the dream. He hits her with that smooth logic. Technically, since she saved his life, the ancient rules say she has to marry him. The sheer audacity on this kid. The Moon Celestial just laughs, calling him a cheeky brat, which basically confirms his charisma stat is maxed out. She stamps a moon seal on his forehead, officially unlocking his god-tier status. Just like that, our boy secured the promotion to end all promotions at the Moon Celestial Palace. Qin Feng wastes zero time. He immediately shoots his shot, asking if this gig comes with co-ed living arrangements and group training sessions. The Moon Celestial drops a bomb. She'll handle his training personally. Shi Wang jumps in, eyes sparkling, begging to move in with her auntie so they can train and dine as a happy family unit, looking completely hyped about the roommate situation. But the Moon Celestial ignores the kid, zooms in on our boy with a sultry gaze, and asks if training is really what he's after. Specifically, you could cut the tension with a knife. Instead of folding, Qin Feng doubles down. Forget the training, let's just focus on the living together part. The audacity is off the charts. This man is operating on pure, unfiltered riz. Shi Wang instantly clocks the vibe and starts shrieking, calling him out for being down bad for her aunt, while the pink-haired goddess next to her looks like she just smelled something rotten. Suddenly, a hand yanks him up by his scalp. Zero mercy. Pro tip, maybe don't hit on the aunt right in front of the protective niece. Definitely a tactical error. Shi Wang lays down the law. Auntie is booked and busy, so Qin Feng is stuck rooming with her instead. The pink-haired goddess is shook like, live with you. But Qin Feng, he's unbothered internally, calculating the possibilities. He figures molding a masterpiece takes time. The man is playing the long game. Smash cut to 7 years later, and Qin Feng has evolved into an absolute unit. We catch him meditating under a waterfall, sporting a physique that looks carved out of marble. The view is immaculate. The fangirls are feasting on the view, but the real plot twist, the little rabbit mascot. This furball is literally scalping tickets for the Qin Feng peep show. 5 minutes on the clock per ticket. It's a full-blown enterprise. It's pandemonium. The girls are clawing at each other, screaming matches erupting over who was first in line. Demand is skyrocketing. We're talking nosebleeds, shoving matches, and desperate maneuvering for the optimal camera angle. The anatomy on display is actively fighting the laws of physics, by the way. Meanwhile, the rabbit, this ruthless capitalist, starts auctioning off Qin Feng's childhood boxers. 20 spiritual stones a pop. The merch game is elite. The rabbit announces the bundle deals premium viewing spots or vintage underwear. Acting like a shady auctioneer at a bathhouse, this creature has the nerve to label itself a good rabbit. Calling it thrifty while running an illegal surveillance ring, you almost have to respect the hustle. But the customers are done haggling. They form a mosh pit and lunge at the rabbit in a frenzy. Pure chaos. The rabbit gets yeeted into the stratosphere, screeching about attempted murder. Turns out, running a black market peep show has risks. The furball plummets into the water with a massive splash. Karma comes fast. It bobs back up, looking dazed, but priorities still clutching the money bag tight. Profit secured. Suddenly, Qin Feng snatches a sword out of thin air with his bare hand, looking stone-cold and unfazed. 7 years in the gym paid off. The assailant, the pink-haired goddess herself. She's all grown up and looks devastatingly gorgeous. She's impressed by his reflexes, and frankly, the audience is too. The Moon Celestial floats in to drop some praise, noting his sword intent is getting sharper every single day. Our boy smirks. If he's not OP, how can he marry the moon goddess? That's his whole motivation. The man has a vision board, but the goddess instantly boots him back into the water, sick of the auntie obsession. She is shutting that narrative down. Qin Feng rises from the depths like a cinematic masterpiece. Wet hair, glistening abs, the artist knew exactly what they were doing. The palace girls are foaming at the mouth, screaming that the wet look is a tier 1 aesthetic and trying to claim him. The thirst is dehydrated levels of bad. Then someone drops a radical idea, why not share him, and the crowd actually pauses to consider the logistics. These ladies are down catastrophic. They start drafting a custody schedule, odd days for Team A, even days for Team B. Everyone nods in agreement. They are literally turning this man into a timeshare. Meanwhile, Qin Feng is still waiting in the pond, waxing poetic about how he's crushed on the ant since he was a toddler. He asks if the goddess even appreciates the beauty standing next to her. She looks ready to choose violence and blasts him with a tidal wave. The Moon Celestial just watches the daily comedy routine from the cliffs. But then, the pink-haired goddess spots something in the water, and her face erupts into a crimson flush. She just saw something she definitely wasn't prepared for. Qin Feng stands up wearing basically nothing, and casually notes that it is pretty massive. She screams, "You perv," and honestly valid reaction. She starts hunting him down through the pond, threatening to end his bloodline while he screams for help from the Moon Celestial. Just another average day at the palace. Straight up unhinged behavior. But then the Moon Celestial drops a bombshell asking if Qin Feng is down to join the Imperial Dynasty's deathmatch tournament, an event that only happens once every 10 years. Hearing the word, deathmatch, Qin Feng slams on the brakes, causing a literal traffic accident with the goddess trailing behind him. And folks, the physics of this collision are exactly what you'd expect when a shirtless dude crashes into a physically gifted deity. Whoever directed this scene deserves a raise for these camera angles. The goddess argues that Qin Feng is already a top-tier divine child, so fighting for the title of Holy Child in the Yinwei dynasty is basically a downgrade. But the Moon Celestial clarifies that this title is, essentially a fast track to the throne, putting him in line to inherit the emperor's seat. Once Ziwan ascends as the moon goddess, their combined political power would be unstoppable. The goddess isn't buying it though. She's stressing over the whole fatal accident. Part of the job description, people actually die in these things. Qin Feng catches the vibe immediately. This girl is way too comfortable around him now, ditching the stranger treatment. But our boy locks in. He declares that the grind never stops. He isn't about to let a little thing like a death tournament ruin his hustle. He signs up, realizing his villain point stash is running critically low. Plus, it's the perfect hunting ground to find the so-called chosen one. But hold up, the plot thickens. The goddess closes the distance, pressing right up against him in the water. She asks, what's so hard about the decision? While Qin Feng fights for his life to stay cool as her hand drifts lower underwater. We are rapidly approaching a danger zone that nobody prepared for. You can see about 15 different panic attacks flashing across Qin Feng's face, and he is not having a good time. Bro is navigating uncharted waters literally and figuratively. He pulls the ripcord and screams about a snake in the pool, sending the goddess into full-blown panic mode. Whether there's an actual reptile, or he just needed a tactical retreat, it works like a charm. The entire hidden audience, palace maids, and even the rabbit start shrieking about snakes scattering in absolute chaos. That's when the realization hits Qin Feng like a truck. He has had a live studio audience watching him bathe this entire time. The look of sheer betrayal on his face is meme-worthy. The moon celestial creates an entrance, and the spying girls instantly drop to the floor. Desperate to plead their case, one girl is screaming apologies, her face turning darker red than a tomato from pure cringe. Getting caught peeping by the moon celestial, that's usually a one-way ticket to the afterlife. But just as the hammer is about to drop, Qin Feng crashes the party. He swapped the towel for full battle gear, midnight blue robes on looming over the kneeling girls, like a straight-up villain. Talk about a quick switch. He goes from vulnerable bath boy to divine child mode in seconds, signaling the moon celestial to stand down. Claiming he'll handle the discipline, he grips a switch, a smile creeping across his face that is honestly nightmare fuel. The girls shivering in their skivvies look up at him totally shook. The power dynamic has completely flipped 180 degrees. And yeah, the energy is weird. He drops the ultimate command, banning them from ever peeking at his bath time again. Watching a former peeping Tom enforce strict privacy laws, that level of irony is absolute chef's kiss. Instead of crying, the girls hit the deck, thanking both the moon goddess and the divine child. Not exactly the torture session they expected. Somehow it actually works. The moon celestial calls him out for being soft, but Qin Feng just brushes it off like it's nothing. He calls it harmless fun, clearly comfortable in his new skin. But mid-sentence his radar goes off. He senses lurkers nearby. The rabbit clocks the bad vibes, too trembling like a leaf in a hurricane. It smells trouble. And let's be real, when the greedy merchant rabbit is terrified, you know it's serious business. Suddenly, a new challenger enters the chat, silver hair, confident smirk, telling everyone to just chill out. Qin Feng snatches the rabbit before it can bolt, ignoring its desperate screams for Sister Zi Yuan. We've got a situation. The moon celestial drops, the intel envoys from the Daxia dynasty are inbound. They arrive in 2 days, and she reminds Qin Feng that Xia Wang sees him as a massive problem that needs deleting. He needs to watch his back. Qin Feng just flashes a cocky thumbs up, he's got this on lock. Meanwhile, the rabbit in his grip is mentally writing its will. The contrast between swagger and sheer panic is comedy gold. But before he can even strategize, a servant bursts in. A student from the great Xia dynasty is already at the gates. He's not just visiting, he's screaming for a duel. Qin Feng's interest is piqued, this just got real. The rabbit finally breathes again. Someone wants all the smoke, and our boy is more than ready to bring the fire. So about that Daxia challenger, thirsting for a brawl, he's camped right outside the moon celestial palace. The front entrance is getting absolutely obliterated by a barrage of energy blasts. This guy is going full berserk mode, screaming at the top of his lungs for Qin Feng to quit cowering and show his face. Pulling up to the crib and demanding a brawl, you have to respect the absolute gall of this guy. He launches a massive energy blast right at the front gate because apparently, vandalism is just his love language. But the palace guards aren't having it, spears out shutting him down instantly, telling him he's way out of line. And this dude, he actually has the nerve to talk trash, shouting that Qin Feng is too scared to accept the challenge and is cowering behind his female guards. That is some wild confidence for someone held at spear point. The guard is just standing there, stunned by the sheer disrespect of this random stranger, trashing their entrance. Inside, Shiwan is already seeing red, ready to go out there and teach these Dasha envoys a lesson in manners. But Qin Feng signals her to pause. He wonders if this loudmouth is just bait a pawn in a much bigger game. He breaks it down. This isn't a personal grudge. It's a setup designed to pit the Dasha noble families against the entire Yin-Yang empire. Our boy exposes the whole plot. For the last 7 years, the great Xia dynasty has been recruiting emperor's disciples to weaken those noble houses. Now, they send these prodigies as envoys, knowing that if they get hurt, the families will be forced into a war with Yin-Ye. While Dasha's nobles and the Yin-Ye empire destroy each other, the Dasha royal family just sits back and collects the loot. It is the oldest trick in the book, but Qin Feng isn't sweating it. He steps out with that signature smirk and says, "There is only one way to test this theory." The guard immediately bows to his lord, and even the red-haired warrior joins the formation. Our boy has a whole squad now. The challenger spots Qin Feng and instantly loses his mind, screaming that he is finally showing his face. This guy has been waiting for this, like it is the most important moment of his life. Zero hesitation, he swings his blade at Qin Feng. No greeting, no monologue, just straight hands. The blade comes flying at Qin Feng's head, and he doesn't even blink. He casually sidesteps the attack like he is dodging a slow-motion turtle. The skill gap here is actually embarrassing. Then Qin Feng opens his mouth and the emotional damage begins. He says he expected a top-tier master, but instead he got some trash at the 4th level of spirit martial arts. He literally brushes dust off his shoulder while roasting him. The disrespect is off the charts. The challenger is fuming, screaming that he is an emperor's disciple at the legendary 9th level. But Qin Feng looks completely bored. just vibing in the background. The poor guy goes full chibi rage mode, asking where a 4th level scrub like Qin Feng gets the nerve to look down on a prodigy. The answer, because he's him. So Qin Feng asks how he wants to run this. One-on-one or a group beatdown? The challenger obviously picks one-on-one, falling right into the trap. Qin Feng smirks and says, "Understood," while holding up a very suspicious finger. If you know Qin Feng, you know that smile means someone is about to have a very bad day. Our boy immediately orders all the palace girls to jump the challenger at the same time. He interpreted one-on-one as one victim versus everybody. The look on the challenger's face is priceless. He is looking around like, wait, this wasn't in the contract. And he gets absolutely wrecked by the squad, while screaming that Qin Feng has no honor, which to be fair is true. The girls stand over him victoriously while he yells that he doesn't accept this loss. Honestly, getting stomped by a team of gorgeous warrior women isn't the worst way to go out. Qin Feng looks down with ice-cold eyes and says, "Accept it or not, that sounds like a you problem." The villain energy is immaculate. But here is the best part. Qin Feng pulls out an abacus and says, "Time to pay the bill." This man brought receipts. He starts itemizing every single scratch. Floor damage secondary level, door damage 3rd level, total loss on the pillar. Then he adds a fee for the girl's mental trauma. He is literally running an insurance scam in broad daylight, and the total comes to 1 million high-grade spirit stones. He even gives a thumbs up like he is doing the guy a solid. The challenger completely snaps, screaming that the damage isn't even worth a single stone. But Qin Feng's calculator doesn't care about your feelings. Qin Feng generously offers a discount, dropping the price to 999,999 Supreme Spirit Stones. The challenger breaks down, screaming that he is broke. The Emperor's disciple has 0 funds. Not a flex. And that is when Qin Feng hits him with the scariest line possible. He says, "It doesn't matter if you have no money. Payment accepted in flesh and blood." The whole atmosphere just did a 180 flip in the next frame. Qin Feng is galloping down Main Street, smashing a gong like he's hosting the wildest infomercial of the century. This guy is literally auctioning off the Emperor's own student. Listen to this pitch. Certified great Shia beefcake. Forget 998. Forget 888. Yours today for just 98. Take him home right now. He really put the royal disciple in the bargain bin. The captive is losing his absolute mind, screaming that the Zhu clan and the Emperor are going to rain hellfire on Qin Feng for this disrespect. But it's hard to look tough when you're being paraded shirtless in a wooden cage. Qin Feng hits him with the deadpan stare through the bars. Bro, worry about your own hide first. The level of violation here is off the charts. Our MC goes right back to the hustle hollering about prime muscle instant shipping. He is having way too much fun with this, and the crazy part, the crowd is actually buying into the hype, gossiping about how prestigious this caged specimen looks since he's from a famous family. Someone claims they're asking for a friend, but then a real buyer steps up. An old dad approaches, begging Qin Feng to consider a match for his daughter. The human trafficking arc is apparently a go. And then, the daughter steps out. Fam, she isn't just big, she is an absolute tank. The background characters are just as shook as the audience. Even Qin Feng flinches, muttering, "Okay, maybe that's a bit harsh." When the villain himself hesitates, you know it's bad. But then he tells the dad, "That'll cost extra." And the guy pays up instantly. Cash rules everything around me, and this transaction is locked in. The challenger is kicking and screaming in chains, begging for mercy, while Qin Feng showcases him like a prize pony at the county fair. We are witnessing a Hall of Fame level humiliation right now. Qin Feng actually has the nerve to scold the guy, telling him to fix his face, because he handpicked this thick queen just for him, and more cushion for the pushin' is top tier. His gaslighting skills are legendary. The victim tries to protest, but Qin Feng force feeds him a mysterious pill. Whatever that was, the challenger definitely didn't sign a waiver. Now sporting a collar, the guy panic asks what he just swallowed. The terror in his eyes says it all. Qin Feng flashes a demonic grin, just a high-grade love potion, potent enough to make livestock lose control. He says it with a sunny smile. This dude is a menace. When the crowd side-eyes him, he shrugs, "I travel a lot. Gotta carry protection." Sir, that is not protection. That is a Geneva Convention violation. Dead silence falls over the street, cue the awkward crow cawing. Nobody can process the madness they just watched. But Qin Feng doubles down. He pushes the drugged captive toward the lady. "Go on, test the merchandise." This scene has officially gone off the rails. The woman pokes his arm, and suddenly the screen explodes with shoujo bubbles and flowers. The potion hits 0 to 60 instantly. Camera zooms in on her hand, squeezing those rock-hard abs. The energy here is getting weirdly spicy, and frankly, any sane person would be calling the authorities. Then the chemicals take over completely. The challenger is staring at her with literal heart-shaped eyes. He starts dropping poetry about how one day apart feels like 3 years. My man has been fully reprogrammed into a simp. He suggests they discuss this further in private, and she is all in. The elite warrior who came to fight is now waltzing off with a stranger. The dad is bowing to Qin Feng like he's a saint. As the happy couple strolls away in the background, our boy just waves it off. Even Qin Feng looks a little creeped out by how well that worked, hearts floating everywhere as they walk into the sunset. He really just created a monster. Ding system alert. Congratulations on being the worst. Destroying dignity earns 1,000 villain points. The hustle never sleeps. Qin Feng pauses, actually surprised it counted. He's basically questioning the ethics of his own cheat code's peak meta commentary. But the comedy show ends now. A massive royal carriage rumbles down the street. The herald announces Princess Nanfeng of the Great Xia dynasty clear the road. A boot slams onto the pavement with heavy authority. You can tell whoever is stepping out means serious business. Qin Feng clocks her immediately. That's the emperor's favorite daughter and the lead envoy for Great Xia. Turns out she's the puppet master behind the challenger this whole time. She doesn't waste a breath. She demands to know how he dares humiliate her people and asks what kind of sentence he's ready to accept. But Qin Feng claps back instantly, asking if Shorty really thinks she can step to the moon god's palace and its divine child on their own turf. He hits her with the, "Did Daxia conquer the Yin Yue dynasty while I was napping?" The princess calls him out of pocket and straight up orders her guard to delete Qin Feng from existence right there. The warrior is like, bet. Diplomacy has officially left the chat. The fire warrior charges up. Engulfed in flames, while Qin Feng just stands there roasting them, calling them absolute swine for trying to catch bodies in a foreign zip code. The audacity is wild, so our boy decides to match their energy, dashing in with a wicked smirk, saying he's down to play. But when Qin Feng talks about fun, he usually means trauma for the opposition. His sword slash rips through the air at Mach speed, leaving a streak of pure kinetic energy. The fire warrior barely parries, and Qin Feng has the nerve to ask, "Is that it? This dude was supposed to be the executioner, and he's already fighting for his life." Qin Feng closes his eyes like an anime protagonist and drops a casual, "Good game, you lose." The match is over before the beat even dropped. The warrior freezes, brain buffering. He can't process the disrespect. Lost already. But my guy isn't logging off that easy. He grips his blade and initiates phase 2 because apparently, this NPC has a second health bar. Boss music intensifies. Qin Feng just stands there, claiming he's a gentleman who would never use poison. "Bro, we saw the receipts from the last episode." Then he hits him with the, well, actually clarifying it's not poison, it's a high-grade aphrodisiac. Like that's an improvement. The challenger's soul practically leaves his body. The realization of what's pumping through his veins is terrifying, and the poor guy is already hallucinating a romantic future with a chubby lady while weeping. The potion is writing his love life without his consent. Desperate, the challenger crawls all the way to Princess Nanfeng's whip, begging her to save him from Qin Feng's twisted chemistry experiment. From inside the carriage, we just hear a heavy sigh. But instead of the princess, a new challenger approaches. Enter Fang Chang, introducing himself as the princess's PR manager, here to issue a formal apology. Fang Chang politely asks Qin Feng to cure their boy, so they don't start an international incident. But the system suddenly goes ding, tagging this guy as the chosen one, with an epic level rating. Qin Feng is absolutely losing it internally. 7 long years? He's been waiting for a protagonist to farm, and this guy just walks right into the kill zone. He's rubbing his hands together, like he just found an infinite money glitch. Spouting nonsense about hospitality, the greed in his eyes is blinding. So Qin Feng agrees to the cure immediately. He hops on a horse looking suspiciously cooperative, which is a massive red flag. Instead of medical aid, our boy launches himself into the stratosphere, with the grace of a tactical nuke. The challenger stands there with a confused look, totally oblivious to the incoming pain. The detox method is apparently percussive maintenance, and Qin Feng delivers a devastating kick. Target locked the family jewels. We even get a graphic visual of an egg cracking. That's not a detox. That is a forced retirement. The challenger drops to his knees, questioning every life choice. The system congratulates Qin Feng with 1,000 villain points for, and I quote, erasing the future of an entire bloodline. He just ended this man's whole family tree. And that's when Princess Nanfeng finally reveals herself. Purple eyes, top-tier drip, looking absolutely lethal, because obviously she's a 10 out of 10. She steps out and tells Qin Feng to quit griefing the low-level players. Meanwhile, the challenger is literally twitching on the ground. The princess is serving looks, and the simps in the chat are eating it up. But Qin Feng holds his ground. Instead, he flips the script, asking why such a pure princess has a secret boyfriend stashed in her ride. The tea is piping hot. Princess Nanfeng calls him trash and goes for the slap. She is done with the disrespect, but Qin Feng casually catches her wrist mid-swing with the most punchable smirk imaginable. This man fears nothing. Fang Chang sees this physical contact, and something inside him snaps. Fang Chang goes full rage mode, sword out aura blazing, screaming, "Get your hands off her." The chosen one's simp instincts just hit overdrive. But Qin Feng, he's just grinning like he won the lottery. Dropping a casual taunt, he tests the waters. That explosion of rage over a simple touch screams secret romance between Fang Chang and Her Royal Highness. Oh, he knows exactly where to strike. Qin Feng's gears are turning, concocting a plan that's equal parts genius and evil. If the so-called chosen one is catching feelings for her, flipping the script is going to be a cakewalk. The villain playbook. It's wide open, baby. He steps into her personal space way too close for comfort and drops the challenge. You dare fight me, clutching her hand like they're starring in a soap opera. But don't let the tension fool you. He wants pure chaos. The princess accepts instantly. But Qin Feng adds a tiny crucial detail, strictly one-on-one. No interference, no backup, no matter how messy it gets. Those stipulations are practically screaming trap. Fang Chang tries to jump in, sensing bad vibes, but the princess shuts him down cold. She signs the contract, totally oblivious to the nightmare she just unlocked. Princess Nanfeng vows to humble this arrogant, dirty woman-relying scumbag. She is ready to throw hands. And let's be real, her assessment of his character zero lies detected. It's a devastating read and fully accurate. They square up in the street crowd, swelling around them like it's a heavyweight title match. Trash talk flies, tension spikes, and the air crackles with static. Nanfeng doesn't hesitate, she launches. She descends like a hawk dagger gleaming, moving at a velocity that defies physics. She is not here to play games. Even Qin Feng has to give props. That speed is legit. She's not just a pretty face, she's a lethal weapon. The steel clashes close range. He almost activates his double pupil technique to counter, but then… a light bulb moment. He gets a much darker idea. He drops his guard on purpose, letting her blade slice his shoulder. Blood spills, but he doesn't care. Winning the duel, irrelevant. It's all about the villain points grind. Nanfeng lands another heavy blow, sending him stumbling back. To the naked eye, she's dominating. Exactly what he wants her to believe. She starts gloating, mocking the first genius as overhyped trash. And gotta admit, she looks majestic doing it. Purple eyes, blazing confidence radiating off her in waves. The vibe is peak heroine energy, but Qin Feng, he just smirks, eyes closed, casually flicking blood off his shoulder like it's dust. Is that right? He purrs. That tone, that is the sound of sanity leaving the building. And then, snap. The princess feels a sudden breezy draft. Her face goes nuclear red, anime-style hearts floating in the ether. She's trying to process the physics of the situation, because this absolute agent of chaos is now dangling a very private piece of silk fabric in the air. He's actually auctioning off the view to the spectators. The crowd is torn between screaming shameless and begging for an encore. Feng Chang snaps, lungs bursting as he shrieks about Qin Feng's lack of honor. I mean, he's not wrong, it's textbook scumbag behavior. But the peanut gallery starts defending the villain. They claim in the Yinwei dynasty, all tactics are valid in war. Boom, the system rewards the audacity, 10,000 villain points dropped. Reason tarnishing the chosen one's pure goddess. Qin Feng taunts her again. Still want to dance or are you done? Inside his mind palace, a chibi Qin Feng is literally drooling over the massive point hall. He plans to milk this cow until it's dry, but the Princess Shi isn't folding yet. She launches a second assault fueled by pure embarrassment and rage. Qin Feng waits standing there like he's got all day. Weapons clash, pink energy exploding outward. She's going all out now, her reputation is literally on the line. But he catches her midair, yanking her body flush against his. The combat zone just turned into a romance zone real quick. Her eyes widen, panic setting in as she realizes his endgame. Then he plants a kiss right on her lips. Center stage. In front of the mob. In front of the chosen one, who's hopelessly in love with her. The sheer audacity is off the charts. It's honestly terrifying how smooth he is. Ding, the system goes crazy, another 10,000 points in the bank. Achievement unlocked, destroying the protagonist's mental state. Qin Feng is speedrunning this villain grind on easy mode. Fang Chang is storming over with the squad, but Qin Feng's inner monologue, he's just calculating his earnings like a Wall Street broker. The grind never sleeps. Then he whispers a command to the stunned princess, open your mouth. She's baffled, but his grip and aura make her limbs feel like jelly. Resistance is futile. The vibe's immaculate for him, catastrophic for her. A close-up reveals her face is burning up, completely flushed. His finger traces her lips, and whatever strategy she had, gone. Brain. .exe has stopped working. He leans in deeper. She tries to stammer a protest, but she's blushing hard enough to fry an egg on her forehead. The background cherry blossoms are doing heavy lifting to make this look romantic. Meanwhile, the onlookers are losing their collective minds, screaming about public indecency and the fact that yes, he actually used tongue. This is way more content than they signed up for. And Fang Chang. He snaps. Veins popping, he screams that Qin Feng is a dead man walking. The chosen one has officially snapped, playing right into our villain's hands. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Fang Chang is unleashing his true power. A colossal golden Buddha manifests behind him, sword drawn and radiating power. This is the chosen one entering full boss mode. The atmospheric pressure is suffocating. Boom, the system notification drops. That is a cool 100,000 villain points secured. Our boy Qin Feng struck gold by pushing the Chosen One over the edge regarding his precious princess. Fang Chang launches a cataclysmic strike, golden Buddha energy spiraling around him as he charges with pure killing intent. The gloves are off. Yet Qin Feng just smirks, bathed in an aura of blue energy. He says this is the opponent he has been waiting for. He baited the Chosen One into a rage just to test his own limits, fearlessly staring down that titanic golden Buddha. Qin Feng decides it is the perfect time for a physique upgrade. Because why not power up right in the middle of a boss fight? He pings the system to max out his Shadow Wanderer skill. The man is literally online shopping while dodging death. And the system confirms the purchase, redeeming the third volume of Shadow Wanderer for 100,000 villain points. All those fresh points he just farmed are instantly reinvested. With the new power surging through his veins, Qin Feng rockets into the sky, his blade slicing through the fiery golden aura like butter. He channels his own blue energy, straight into the golden onslaught. The two forces collide with enough kinetic force to shake the entire region. Fang Chang roars that there is nowhere left to run, pouring his soul into the attack. The Chosen One is fueling this on pure rage and heartbreak, feeling every single strike. The golden Buddha energy detonates in a massive wave, engulfing the battlefield. This is the Chosen One going all out. But Qin Feng meets it head-on, wielding an ornate golden sword wrapped in blue flames. That Shadow Wanderer upgrade is paying off instantly. The clash triggers an explosion of gold and blue light, sending a shockwave that staggers every spectator on the sidelines. And then Qin Feng's blade shears right through the golden Buddha's absolute defense. The Chosen One's ultimate move just got completely stat-checked. Fang Chang's expression says it all. Cold sweat, wide eyes, the realization that he is hopelessly outclassed hits him like a freight train. The blue energy tears right through him, and Fang Chang is powerless to stop it. The hero who stepped up to avenge his girl is getting absolutely demolished. Fang Chang crashes down, coughing up blood. He arrived with righteous fury, and is leaving with a massive hospital bill. Qin Feng just successfully farmed the protagonist for points, and took the W. Peak villain behavior. Qin Feng stands there looking like he just finished a light warm-up, casually noting that Fang Chang is actually the first person to ever survive his heaven-destroying sword technique. The princess rushes over to check on her fallen hero. To his credit, the Chosen One tries to put on a brave face, insisting he is okay. Spoiler alert, he is definitely not okay. The princess clutches a medicine bottle, and she is completely lost for words. You can practically see the gears in her brain grinding to a halt. She hands the meds to Fang Chang and mutters, "That is good," clearly just relieved he is not a corpse. The bar for success is underground right now. Suddenly, the system drops a massive notification congratulating Qin Feng for destroying the white moonlight image. In the Chosen One's heart, awarding 100,000 anti-villain points. Hold up, anti-villain points. That is a new currency. But then the system hits him with another mission, inherit the will, of coveting someone else's wife. Qin Feng's reaction is priceless because even he is like, wait, come again. Qin Feng immediately goes into denial mode, insisting he is a gentleman who would never steal another man's partner. The system did not stutter. But then it reveals the reward, a god-level treasure chest, for successfully separating the couple. And just like that, our boy's moral compass becomes extremely flexible, deciding he will give it a shot. So Qin Feng strolls right up and asks Princess Nan Feng if she just stuck her tongue out at him, right in front of her injured boyfriend. The man has zero shame and infinite audacity, stunning the crowd into silence. You could hear a pin drop in the town square. Nobody was ready for that move. The princess absolutely loses it. Screaming that he is shameless, she is blushing so hard you would think her face caught fire. And honestly, fair point.